toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
I'm Todd Pleasant.
I'm Daryl DePriest.
And I'm Brian Mix.
As promised, the gang's all here for
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, first episode of the new year, and we're going to do 2022 year in review.
And we are recording on January 1st, 2023.
We are recording on January 1st. We did it later
no
last
moss
year.
grow on 2022.
Yeah, we did do it later last year, and this is maybe the first time we're recording that I am actually hungover. But,
Oh, really? I didn't have a thing to drink last night.
we did.
Oh.
But it was good. So happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. So, if you can or not refer back to episode 417 that we did this last year, it doesn't matter. But we're going to do the same thing again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason to go back and listen is if you wanted to hear either some of us being more intoxicated than usual or what our New Year's resolutions were. But we'll talk about
We'll
them.
repeat them.
Yeah, we will
and see how far or not far we got. With
I'm not optimistic that any of us made a lot of progress on those resolutions, but
It'll also be interesting to see how many people's shows I'm looking forward to wound up on the shows I hated list this year.
Oh, that's a good question. Good thing.
I see.
Okay, and we, in honor of Daryl's inebriation from last year, we all decided to make this a drinking show.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
why don't as always, I'm going to refer to people in this way in the order of my screen. Not that you know what it is, but you know when I reach out to you. So, Daryl, what are you drinking?
So tonight it's a little bit lighter than a year ago. That didn't go so well last year. But this is an Aperol. It's a variation of an Aperol spritzer. So I'm using the extra Prosecco from last night's.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh, good. We have half a bottle from 2 nights ago.
Yeah,
Half a Magnum, actually, because the wives definitely did a good job drinking through that.
But I put a little passion fruit nectar and some cranberry in here, so it's kind of like a Mary Berry spritzer. I think is kind of what it's called.
Interesting. Okay, I'm next. I am keeping it simple. I am drinking. This is a sponsor, Van Gogh Dutch Caramel Vodka on the rocks. For all your vodka needs, Van Gogh, check them out. They're paying me $1 million to say that.
Yeah.
In a Blade Runner glass.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Brian?
That's tasty.
I'm drinking a simple gin and tonic in my Star Trek Gene Roddenberry reproduction tumbler.
Oh,
There
nice.
you go.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. The gin is James May has a line of gin from Top Gear fame. This is the Mustard.
James May, the guy who is the voice of the robot?
No.
That's Bob May.
I
No,
know.
this is James May. Yeah.
Barry?
I am drinking vanilla Crown Royal out of a new glass I got for Christmas that says the good shit on it.
Yeah.
With a big ball of ice in there.
I like the big ball of ice.
Yeah,
I didn't
ball of ice.
have any frozen.
Yeah, it's this is good. So
Cool.
I think this is what I drank last year too. So.
I am just drinking a plain old Bacardi and Diet Coke with lime out of a tumbler because all those other nice looking glasses are too small.
There you go. Well, I've got extra ice and I've got the bottle. Here,
nice.
so
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I've got a couple backup drinks as well.
And I may have to step away because I forgot to bring the bottle down. So if I finish this, I'll run off for a second and go get the bottle. So
yeah,
I had to make do with the little squirt bulb of lime juice because I planned poorly and didn't have actual lime. So it's,
Savage.
Yeah. So like, yep.
so uncivilized.
I was going to make the tiki drinks are very complicated and they don't
Oh yeah.
they don't mix well.
Well, the one that we
sitting
drank
there.
the other night. So I think if anybody listened to the last show, the three of us were actually together just like 2 nights ago. That
Yes.
feels like. And we made something called a golden gun, or it was a variation of a
Barry,
golden gun.
I didn't have all the ingredients.
Those were tasty though.
Those were good. I'm gonna have to dig into it. I got a tiki book for Christmas, which was the history of tiki bars and recipes. So I'll have to dig into that.
For Christmas, my wife gave me the drink mix book of Disneyland drinks.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
But man, are they complicated. And,
Yeah.
and let me tell you, and the liquor laws in Maryland are a unique puzzle.
Really?
You can't buy alcohol at all in a grocery store. There are
Can't.
beer
That's
and
the
wine
same in New
stores.
York.
There
Same
are
in
beer
New
and
York.
wine stores where you can only buy beer and wine.
Oh, that's weird.
And there are hard alcohol stores. I guess they're owned by the state where you can buy hard alcohol, but nobody sells decent mixers. It's really bizarre here.
Oh, that's weird. Well, in New York, you buy beer in the supermarket, and that's it. And wine is in a liquor store.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
hard liquor and wine are in the same stores here.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah. I guess it's
Yeah.
every state. And it's probably
some of those
more about.
mixers are hard to find anyway. Like when we were
Yeah.
going through Dave's Tiki book, like some of the things that you need a tiny little bit of, they're such obscure
That's
things.
all
you
those
know where to find
liqueurs and stuff, and
Yeah.
and syrups and things. You got
Yep.
you really got to plan ahead with that stuff. You know where I don't know if you have a Wegmans. They have a ton of good like mixers. There's a company called Fever Tree who I know a lot of bartenders seem to use, and they have like 4 different versions of tonic, 5 different versions of ginger beer, and Wegmans tends to have a lot of that stuff.
We are getting
So-
our first Wegmans. They're actually building it now. So
I've been ordering my tonic from Fever Tree from Amazon because it's easier than trying to find a store here that sells it.
Yeah. Well, you should have Wegmans near you. I know they're in Virginia for sure.
But they won't sell alcohol.
No, but they'll sell the
Oh,
Wegmans
mixers?
does in. Wait, that may have been in Maryland. Wait, was it?
Wegmans
It's somewhere.
is in DC.
There are
though,
Wegmans
I
that
know
have great liquor
Yeah.
stores. I don't know what city.
Of course,
they're in.
Virginia is a 15-minute drive from here. So I
Yeah.
could
Anyway,
probably
that's
find
enough
one in
about.
Virginia.
That's the
about liquor.
supermarket discussion for
Yes,
today.
so now you all know what we're drinking as we make our way through the year that was 2022.
Exactly. So we're going to go. Well, is it everyone's? We haven't discussed this beforehand. I know I listened to the first like half hour of the show. Apparently, we must have had a very lengthy discussion before the show of what we were going to do. And I don't remember what that pre-show gold was, but it sounds like it had been a while. So we
It also
wound up.
sounds like it immediately went out the window as soon as
Yeah.
we started.
Yeah.
But we wound up going through the categories, and then we did it in the same order across the screen. If that's still okay for everybody.
Fine way to start, and we'll see where we end up.
But we should, to make it fair, because it wouldn't be fair. So I'll try to do this. Why don't we'll start with the next category. We'll start with the next person, so everyone gets a
Right.
chance to go first.
1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Yeah, exactly. So in that order, for those keeping track, which we should, is Daryl, Dave, Brian, Barry, Todd. And then the next one we'll do Dave, blah, 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 blah,
And,
blah.
and just so you understand, Dave, that's the order you see on your screen. It is not necessarily the order any of
Yeah.
us see.
Oh,
on
I
our
know
screen.
that. That's why I called it out, just so we
Yeah,
got
it's
to
all
pick
good.
an order. So that's the order if I'm sort of trying to
So we're
keep
going to
us
pick our
moving.
favorite in each one of these categories, and then I guess maybe after everybody gives their favorite, we can give some honorable mentions.
Yes, I know
last year.
there
Yeah.
was some contention last time by
Yes.
Brian, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving your honorable mention, which is my favorite, and I haven't gone yet.
Right.
So,
So save your honorable
so-
mentions until after everybody goes.
We'll save it
All
because
right.
I definitely
All right.
have like a top,
yeah,
kind of a
I
top
definitely
three.
have extras.
Me too.
So one only. We go around, and then we can get
Okay.
into some honorable mentions.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that fair
Good.
enough? We ready to start the fighting?
Yeah.
With the
Let's start
feats
the
of
fighting.
Do we start with the feats of strength, or do we go straight to the airing of grievances?
Airing of
Let's
grievance.
see.
We should have
Let's.
airing of grievance.
That should be a category. The thing that pissed me off the most this year was
Oof.
Oh.
Yes. Why don't we do that at the end? Everyone try to remember that.
Yeah. Save that bonus category.
Okay. I don't remember when we started. I'm going to call it 9, 8, 10.
Yeah.
Just so we have a sense of how long this freaking thing is going to be.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Our first category is movie. Daryl, we're going to throw it to you.
Sounds good. So I went down and so I keep track of all the movies that I watch every year. I actually watched a ton in the theaters this year. So that's one thing. Like I felt like it was kind of back to normal, at least for me. And here in Tennessee, people don't wear masks anyway. So it was just all super normal. Of all the movies
before
I watched,
you answer the question, I just want to ask something.
Yeah.
Do we want to break this into, because I do feel like there is now a divide between movies you feel compelled to see in a theater versus movies that you're willing to watch at home. Do we want to do favorite movie you saw in a theater, favorite movie you saw at home, or is that too
I think we just
I think a movie's a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You could have skipped it and waited 6 weeks to watch it at home.
That's broken now. Okay,
But a movie,
it's never going to get fixed. So
a movie
I
is
watched Glass
defined
Onion.
as something that's been in the theater and is one part.
yeah, that's one. I mean, I watched Glass Onion, and that was in the theater for like a day.
Wait.
So
I can't use my favorite documentary series in this category.
No, you cannot.
Okay, give me some time. I'll get there. Okay,
You're
go
just
ahead,
trying
Joe.
to start trouble, Todd. You're just trying to start trouble.
Oh my gosh! Didn't we make 3 separate categories later on just to answer
No,
Barry
we
on this
didn't.
one?
So
All
a
right.
movie-
Anyway,
I stand by my choice from last year.
Oh
God
my
damn.
God.
my favorite movie. It was tight, but I'm gonna go with Doctor Strange. I just thought Doctor Strange did so many things so well, but also dug a hole, a crater in the Marvel universe for how do you follow up this massive, galaxy colliding stuff that I think they're still trying to deal with. But I thought it was well done, fun, and also troubling in its magnitude of what it did. All right,
I would agree with that.
so who's
I'm
Dave.
next. I did have that as my honorable mention. Since he said it, I'm going to say it. But I agree. I think it's the best of the Marvel movies this year, in my opinion. I'm going to go Top Gun. I mean, Top Gun was – I didn't know what to expect, even though it is Tom Cruise. It was a lot of fun, and it paid off. So
Star Wars with jets.
Exactly. And number one grossing film of the year. Brian.
Can't argue with that. It was tough. I didn't see a lot of movies in the theater this year because we moved and we haven't even found a theater here yet that we like. But mine's The Batman. Sorry, Todd. The Batman was surprisingly good.
Yep.
That
was a nice surprise that it was good.
To me, the Batman movies have been sliding downhill considerably, and this one went right back up there to the top. It's one of my favorites. It's really good.
Good choice.
Yeah, Dave and I saw that one together.
Yep. That was good. That was nice. A nice surprise because you didn't know what to expect.
One of my honorable mentions. Check.
Barry?
All right. So
Oh, boy.
this is a movie. I don't want to hear about it. My favorite thing I saw, and this was in a theater, was the Beatles Get Back rooftop concert in IMAX.
I knew you were going to say that. I
In a
should have written
theater.
it down.
Did it come out
And-
this year?
Came
Yes,
out
it
in
did.
January. I saw it in
Yeah.
the theater in January in IMAX, and it was just the concert portion with a little bit of documentary footage at the beginning and end. But seeing,
Was it only like 30 minutes long?
no, they padded it to about an hour, but it was. Seeing it in IMAX and with the sound and everything, it was amazing. And I had already seen it in the documentary, but seeing it in theaters was amazing. So that's my best theatrical experience this year for sure. And that was why I was asking if we wanted to break that up, because maybe not my favorite, because it's hard to call it a movie. I get that because it's really a concert.
I'll
but-
let you call that one a movie, not like last year.
Has that come
No.
out on DVD yet?
I
Or
think it
Blu-ray?
just came out. Yeah.
Did it? Are there specials? Is it? Did they add more footage?
You know what? I'm not sure. They
find
should have,
out.
because they had a lot more footage than they
Yeah.
included. But so I have some honorable mentions, but we can talk about them later.
Yeah.
Todd, please
Okay.
don't say some band that's been broken up for 50 years.
No, it is.
It is 50 years.
It is also the Batman.
Yeah.
I think they did. I've watched it 3 times since I saw it in the theaters. I saw it twice in the theaters, and I saw it 2 more times after that, actually. And I like everything they did with that film. They went with a very practical Batman versus it was different than every Batman we've seen, and it works. And I think I love Batman in all its incarnations, some more than others. And I think this was just a great direction for the time, and it was just it just really worked. I would also Doctor Strange would have been my runner-up, and
Yeah.
Top Gun is also
It's on my list. Yeah.
absolutely epic. So it's a good choices all the way around. Don't give a shit about the Beatles movie, but if you can call it,
I don't think they give a shit about you either.
I thought I was
Absolutely.
gonna.
No, I know that for certain. In that,
Did Paul McCartney text you yesterday to wish you Happy New Year? Because he texted me.
Okay, well, you were the one guy that saw that in the theater, so I can understand.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how I got on this text list, but I get texts at the holidays from Paul McCartney. Literally, I do.
Oh, that's great. And you should just keep showing their stuff because of that. So,
Dave,
Todd,
Dave
the
gets tequila or vodka, and you get
the Batmobile and the Batman, I thought I was going to hate it.
same
And
here.
it's really, really grown on me.
It's perfect. And again,
Yeah.
it is, and this is a Batman. Like the previous Batman, he's down in a cave making stuff, and you're like, yeah, he didn't make that.
Right.
Okay.
That looks like a homemade
Yeah.
Batmobile.
It's like this one, like everything looks like he either made it or could have had it made.
Yeah.
And and again, yes, I was like, oh, that's not the Batmobile. I freaking love it. It's
Yeah.
it was perfect, and it was as the most street Batmobile we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it was it just worked. And again, same thing with the costume and all the motorcycle stuff, and there were elements of this, a lot of elements of this from year one, which I really, really liked. And I just super pleased all the way around. And I say this on top of the fact that I was very, very apprehensive about this film. I was going in with like, oh boy, this is just, no, I was very pleased with it.
Was year one a comic book?
Year one's a comic. Yeah. And even,
Got a drink.
Trying to play the Todd Pleasant drinking game.
oh, you missed another one. I already. Oh no, that was before the show. Okay.
I gotta
So,
see Batman. I've done a bad job of re-seeing movies. I don't know why.
I was going to
feel like-
ask because Brian dropped this on us last year, and he told us that in his opinion, the best movie of the year is the one you saw the most amount of times.
I haven't seen many things multiple
I haven't
times.
rewatched a lot either.
and I
Yeah.
really want to. And
I
I
will
rarely
say
rewatch movies.
The main and I am not positive how many times I've watched Batman because it's also very. It breaks down into scenes very, very well. There's certain scenes that I've watched more than others because there's, it's-
I won't watch movies like, even going back to Spider-Man from last year, if it's on in the middle, I won't watch it. Unless I've seen it like multiple times and I haven't seen that multiple times, I'm like, turn it off. We don't watch movies in the middle. It's one of my many rules.
Yep.
I have not rewatched the Batman since we saw it at that screening.
I gotta
at
go
HBO.
see it. I gotta see it. I have to see it.
yeah.
There was a bunch of superhero stuff this year, and I had a very hard time trying to pick which one I liked the most because they were all just okay to me. There wasn't
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah.
There was ones that I didn't like. I could tell you I didn't really like
Save
Black
those for
Adam.
later.
But
So my honorable mentions that
go
weren't
ahead.
on your list. There aren't. You guys mentioned most of them, but one of them was Lightyear. I
Lightyear was
enjoyed
cute.
Lightyear.
we
It was
all
nice.
like Lightyear, and
Yeah.
yep.
It
And-
kind of didn't do well, but
No, it
it
didn't.
was cute.
It
It was
didn't.
fun.
Yeah, I liked it. And the controversial one, the movie I just saw that I loved was the Glass Onion. I know it's not your favorite writer.
yeah, I
director,
watched.
but
I
it
watched
was-
it a couple
I
nights.
watched
ago.
it. We watched it last night. I
we
didn't
did
think it was
too.
that great. It was a
It's
little.
fine.
I'm the only one
Confusing.
here who hasn't seen it, huh? Okay.
And I feel
I
like
really
it's
liked it.
fine, and it was an enjoyable movie, but not like, oh my god, this franchise needs to keep going because it's just so like.
It's a little. I feel like it's already a little full of it. Like, let's do this, this, and this, and be cagey about what's going on. I don't know. He needs a smack. in
I
the face.
saw part of a very brief kind of snippet interview with Daniel Craig the other day that said he was really excited about this characters and excited doing more with them. And it's just interesting. You juxtapose that with like a year ago, his saying, "Oh, I don't want to get locked into a franchise, and it's really limiting me."
Yeah.
I'm
and
really
I'm not
excited
gonna-
to get away from Bond. And it's like, yeah,
This is
Maybe
not the
talk
thing to
about
get
this
away
more
from
when
Bond
we talk
with.
about TV shows, but like I just finished Wednesday today, the Netflix series.
oh, you did. Yeah.
And I felt like that was a better whodunit and kept me guessing all the way to the end than the Glass Onion was. Like,
Yeah, I didn't like the format of that. Anyway,
so my
let's-
other honorable mentions, I
Yes.
didn't.
It was
so
fun.
Top Gun would have probably been my favorite movie had I not picked the Beatles. But I saw The Fablemans in theaters, and it's actually really good. I don't know if anybody has seen that yet, but
Not yet. It's on my list of
definitely
things.
worth
I wanna
seeing.
watch.
Come on.
And for sentimental reasons, Clerks 3 was actually kind of a good movie. So, and
You're going to
went-
start getting texts from Kevin Smith as well.
I was gonna
no,
say,
well,
you're the only
listen, you
person
guys,
who's seen
I'm not
it.
expecting any of you to watch it, but it went in directions that I would not have expected a Clerks movie or a Kevin Smith movie to go, which was good.
We got to see 2, and then I'll see 3.
Yeah, 2 is a all-out, flat-out comedy. This one has actually some more serious tones
Okay.
to it, but good.
So you guys have all hit my most of my honorable mentions, but I'm going to go for one that I think is a spicy pick: The Menu. I don't know.
Did you like that?
Haven't seen it.
Because we haven't seen, because we want to see that. We have not seen it yet.
Is that
Patty
who's in
and I-
that?
liked it just because it's so nuts. Like once you just sit there and kind of expend your disbelief a little bit. I found it really entertaining, and if you like the foodie culture at all, like if you're into that, it's actually really, it makes it more fun. So
I'll say my last honorable mention, and it came out, and then Studio 666 was the Foo Fighters horror movie, which came out, and then Taylor Hawkins died, and I just couldn't bring myself to watch it. I only watched it, I think it was in October around Halloween. It's actually a fun horror movie, and if you like the Foo Fighters, it's that much more enjoyable. But the fact that, this doesn't give anything away. They systematically sort of kill members of the band off, and knowing
boy.
that I had seen in the trailer that they killed Taylor Hawkins in it, I really couldn't watch it until I, fully processed that. So, but that was actually a fun, and it's not long. It's like an hour and 45-minute thing, but it was actually a fun horror movie.
So, Todd, I'm curious, because I would put this as a movie, and I would put it as an honorable mention, The Werewolf by Night.
See, I was going to say it when
Yeah.
we got to that point. I was going to
Is it
say
a movie, though?
It's a movie,
We need an other category for like
It's a
specials
special.
and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. We
but
need
it's a movie.
other thing. It's
Would
just
you
gonna
call
be
the
short.
Guardians Christmas
So-
special a movie?
No, that's a Christmas special.
And see, no, we need it. That's what I said. We need an other category, and I was going to bring that up down the line.
I think
Because-
it has to be a short form category, because it's not movie length.
Right.
This is the guy who made a TV series, a
trying to
limited
make
TV
things-
series into
Goddamn
a
right I
movie.
did.
series into a movie. But
Okay.
no,
Moving
I'm saying
along.
We need another
50-minute
category for things that
special
Yeah,
movie.
that's going to make my limited TV series pick interesting.
that
But
don't
let's
fit
go on to
evenly
that,
into
Dave.
the other.
We don't have
categories,
limited
that's all.
TV series.
Yeah, we do.
we
do?
did. It was a category, but I ignored it and I just put everything in new or returning.
Oh, okay.
We
I-
did have it as
I-
a category.
I just
was a
used
category,
it as
so
a
I-
means
I
to
picked
squeeze
something.
another TV series in. So-
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't understand what limited meant because everything I looked
Oh,
at
I
limited
totally
means-
skipped that.
Has the
I don't think
limited
it's a
means-
series
it meant-
because it's only one episode.
Well, no, but like a limited series is something that there's 6 episodes, 8 episodes. It's not coming back for a second season.
Yeah, but there's a lot of argument of
Wait,
what
wait,
that
wait,
is.
wait. Really?
Yeah,
That's
really.
what limited series is.
That's
Yeah.
that's what
That's what it was
by
last year.
definition. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
So, like, as
I don't
an
know what's
example,
not. I don't
Marvel
know what's
series
not
that they
coming
have
back.
not
Like
announced a season 2
Roots.
for.
Is a limited TV series.
Yeah.
But they made Roots too. So
Well,
That's
but
Roots too.
Moon Knight is a limited series because they've not made any indication that they're doing a second season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sandman would have been a limited series, Todd.
Sandman was my limited series, but yes, they're doing a season 2.
until it was leaked that they're doing a season.
Okay. Here's what we're gonna do right now. New TV series we're doing now. If we want to dig into limited, we can figure that out too.
All right.
Well, yeah, because like here's an example. Where do you put Obi-Wan? Is that just a new series? But
no, it's a
they're-
limited series.
It would have been in the limited series category because they haven't announced that they're doing any more of it.
Oh,
Right.
I put it in new TV series.
I don't know.
Okay,
We're talking
So we'll
too
just
much.
combine these two.
Yeah, combine them.
Okay, so my favorite new TV series is Obi-Wan. And it's funny because I started listing a couple things, and I'll dig into the other ones and I realized how many good TV series there were. So I have a
Yes.
ton of honorable mentions, but I'm not going to mention them. But I got to say, of a lot that I liked, Obi-Wan, and I'm hoping it's not limited. I hope they come back again. So that's the thing. I don't think we have the definition of limited because it could come back. We just don't know. But anyway. That's mine.
Well, but until they announce that it's coming
At this
back,
point, it
yeah.
is standalone. At this point, I think
Right.
at the point that the year ends, there's
Yeah, but we could say that about a lot of shows. We could say that about Wednesday. It hasn't been renewed.
right. But
Okay, yeah,
something
no,
like
true. Yeah.
something like The Dropout, which was meant as like an 8-episode limited series. That to me, like they're now going to do a follow-up series. to
I
that.
don't even know what that is.
That was the Elizabeth Holmes Theranos thing with Amanda Seyfried.
Oh, right.
Still don't know what that is. Anyway,
Well,
that
it was
Obi-Wan's
good.
mine.
You missed it.
Brian, favorite
Okay,
new
so
series?
favorite new series was Wednesday.
That's a limited series. No, I'm sorry.
Really enjoyed Wednesday. Caught me by complete surprise.
I'm not done with
I
it
would-
yet,
I
but
would like it that much. Oh,
We
okay.
finished it today, and
it's
And,
on my
um,
list of
it's great.
TV series I liked, surprisingly.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're only
didn't-
halfway through.
Have a
But
lot
only-
of burnt and stink on it.
Is Wednesday.
It
It's,
does not. You're right.
And my limited one was
No.
What If. Was
Oh,
What
okay.
If.
We're not going there. We're not going there.
Oh, not going there? All right.
Okay.
I thought we
Well,
were
why
skipping
are
that
we not
category.
going there? Like, when are we?
I thought
Are
we
we
were
going to
skipping
go
that
there
category.
eventually?
But it's a separate category.
Well, it was, but we just said we were combining them.
We did say that.
We
Yeah,
didn't.
I
say
did
that.
say it. Anyway,
We did
We're
actually
combining
say
them?
that.
Why don't
Dave, what are your
everyone
two-
go
Then Dave,
new-
what are your two series?
Let's go new and limited in the same thing. I didn't prepare a limited, so
Technically, Obi-Wan is your limited.
okay.
he
This
cut
is
it to
why-
both.
oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So we have two TV series categories. We're on the first one right now.
We
We'll get
actually
the
have
second one
three
next
series.
lap.
We have
Go ahead.
returning
We have
series
three.
also.
We have returning,
Yeah.
new,
Third,
and limited.
but yeah.
Okay, whatever. Barry, what do you pick something?
Yeah.
I would say for new, I would say Strange New Worlds.
I'd agree with that since I picked the wrong thing for limited.
Yeah.
And limited, I would have to say Obi-Wan.
Okay, me too. Todd?
But Wednesday was right up there for me, to be honest.
Okay, new, I would say Strange New Worlds. Limited, I would say Moon Knight because I was just told I couldn't say the Sandman. So, and somebody has to stand up for Moon Knight for what it was.
Somebody
Okay.
has to. You're going to get text from Oscar Isaac.
He's
Thank
going
you.
to
Yes.
thank
You're
you.
the one who liked it.
Yeah.
All right. It seems like this category is too limiting, honestly, because I think as I was going down, I want to hear all your guys' top tens in case I'm missing a show
Yeah.
or something.
Hey, we can go through that. You
There's
do
a lot.
yours, and
There's a
then we'll
lot
go.
in this category.
Daryl, what do you got?
There's a lot. Okay, my number one favorite show of the year, Andor. Loved it in every.
That would have
way.
been my next on the list.
Yeah, me too.
It was completely awesome. After that, Slow Horses. So Todd,
Yep.
we had 2 seasons.
Oh,
of Slow
yeah.
Horses this year. Unbelievable show.
I'm just glad that there was a Star Wars show this year that you liked.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was incredible, Barry. And that,
We haven't
exactly,
talked about it, you and I, but I know you were not as high on Obi-Wan or Boba Fett or any of that. So.
Obi-Wan ended well, but it was very flawed for a couple reasons. I don't think we've ever actually talked about it. So I've got Andor, Slow Horses, The Sandman. Todd and I both love that. Wednesday, then number 5 for me, I put Bad Sisters. It's not exactly a sci-fi genre show, but it's
Supposed to be good.
whodunit. Yeah.
Okay.
So really enjoyable. And then after that, it's a mix of other Marvel shows. Obi-Wan's in my top 10 and House of the Dragon, stuff like that. So
I also really like House of the Dragon. I also really like I really like The Peripheral.
I have the Peripheral on my
Peripheral
list.
was
of
really
things I
good,
like.
too.
that's on my top 10 too.
I also like Reacher. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was enjoyable.
I can't believe nobody's mentioned She-Hulk.
That was my number 7.
I have that on my list.
Again, this limit. It was like my second limited series,
Okay.
and yeah, because I'd
It was-
forgot Moon Knight was this year.
As far as Marvel shows go, I think it's my favorite of the year. It was
It's
Yeah.
a great
Fantastic,
show.
yeah.
But
I
it's not
agree with
coming
you on
back,
that.
Todd. Or you guys?
no, at this
don't
point,
think we-
she's
I
going
don't
to
think
be
we
in.
know.
She's going to be in. They've said 2 of the other things, but they're not talking about a series at this point.
2 shows or 2 movies?
2 movies.
Oh, so Kevin was wrong at the end of that. Damn it. We can't trust
Yeah.
what Kevin says.
So
The other show that for me that definitely gets on the honorable mention is Peacemaker.
Yes,
I really like
I'm surprised no
Peacemaker.
one mentioned that. I have it on my list too, and I was
Yep.
against watching it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but-
can't wait to
I was. That is those 2. So you take the film that he came out of, and that show, and they are so brilliant. It is so perfectly James Gunn. You take this movie that you really didn't want to be as good as it was, and it was great. And then you take the character who is the least likable character in the movie, and you give him a series, and you're like, what the fuck? And then he kills it.
Yeah.
The dude is
They
amazing.
redeemed that character totally.
in a big way. And then another honorable mention, which Dave will not watch and won't have any interest in, but the Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings
I thought
show.
you can say Willow.
Also very good.
It was, well, Willow's not in my top series list, but the Rings of Power was very good. It's just, I feel like it should have been better for, all the hype and all the money they spent on it, but it was very good.
Barry, if we didn't have like Witcher, the Dragon Show, I kind of feel like fantasy just got hit hard, and
that's why
like
it was running concurrently with House of the Dragon, and I forced myself to watch House of the Dragon first, and then we went back and watched Rings of Power later because it was too many dragon shows going at once.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and that was the thing. I was watching it, and it was like. And every once in a while, I'd be like, "Oh, what's happening?" Oh, no, that character's not in the show. There was just a lot of fantasy stuff, so which is also I feel going to hurt Willow for.
Yeah, and just you mentioned Sandman a couple times. It's on my list of things to watch, but I haven't seen it yet, which is probably why it didn't make my top list. But I've heard nothing but positive things about it. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
If I had to pick a show based on a single episode. The best show of the year based on a single episode, it would be Sandman. It would be the 6th episode. So, which is just, I think it was absolutely brilliant. So,
I like the Terminal List too. I have that on my.
I did also
shows. So there's a lot of good series.
Yeah, the TV is where it's at right now. It feels to me. I mean, it's hit or miss, but when you find the good stuff, it's really good.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
It's an amazing year for TV.
Now we're doing TV returning series. All of these have been new or limited or whatever the hell. So returning series, Brian.
I went first last time. It's Barry.
No, I went first last time.
Then it's me. Okay. Oh God, there were so many. I'm going to go with the Orville.
Okay.
Orville was my pick. I was most looking forward to last year, and it paid off. It was
And I'll
so
make
good.
it easy for you. That was my pick for best returning series as well.
okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I particularly like the naked Cletus and whatever his name episode.
Yeah, that was a
Cletus and
Bortus.
Bortus episode.
Naked Bortus.
Yeah, that did it for me.
Naked Bortus.
I just loved how they took that show and made it it's the first season was clearly comedy. The second season was trying to be Star Trek, and the third season was like the best episodes of Star Trek. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
I liked it. I don't know if I put it on my top list. So Barry, you had that. Todd, what?
That was mine also. Yeah.
Boy, I want to say Evil, which I
Again?
I 'cause
I haven't
again,
watched the third season yet.
It's very, very good. But I'm going to go with Stranger Things. I really am.
Oh, yeah.
That was the
think,
next one on my list too.
I didn't think they could get lightning back in a bottle again, and they did a hell of a job with this year.
Yeah.
They really did. And it's much darker than it's been, and
It's
it was
compelling
still,
though.
Yeah.
and it was still very, very compelling. And I think, like I said, I think they carried it off very, very well.
I like how there's a feeling of epicness to it and potential and pending finality, whereas a couple seasons before it felt like they were just spinning around the same kind of stuff.
Yep.
So they did ratchet up the stakes.
It didn't feel like there were stakes in the first couple seasons. I agree with you. Like I never really thought any of the main characters could die.
The third
Now I
season
feel like
definitely.
everything's
The third
on the
season
table.
definitely.
Yeah.
And now it's
Yeah, it definitely felt. Yeah, no, I think they did. I'll jump ahead and say that was mine too. That was my pick for a returning series.
All right.
I really enjoyed that, and I wasn't. It wasn't even like 1,000% on my radar. Like, oh, it's coming back. I wasn't even. And then I got into it, and it's really hard to stop watching. But Daryl, what do you got?
So I'm gonna. I had it down to a couple here, but I'm just gonna go for All Mankind.
Yeah. Yeah, it was second on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, so for All Mankind, this season wasn't as strong as prior
That's
seasons.
what I have that on one of my disappointments because
yeah,
it
That was my
not
biggest
good
challenge
at all.
with it. Is I wanted it to be my favorite show of the season, and
This was
it's
not
still
a good season.
good, but it wasn't as good as previous.
It's
seasons.
I'm giving him a lot of credit for creating a universe that I just I was very compelled to watch show after show. It wasn't as good, but it's still really good. And after that, probably, I mean, there were a bunch of okay shows. I thought Stranger Things was good. Resident Alien's always fun. Ted Lasso,
Yeah.
I like,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I have not watched The Orville. I will, based on your guys' recommendations. And Todd, I think I'll finally come and watch Evil.
Yeah. No, you'll like it. You'll like
Evil. I've seen the first 2 seasons of Evil. They're great.
it.
I don't have it other than I do have The Boys, which was
The Boys,
crazy,
which is
and
crazy.
good.
and
That would be my
I-
second
I
problem.
don't know as it was up to the level of previous seasons, but it's so hard to tell because let's just say the gore was beyond. And they drove a boat through a whale in a previous series. You just didn't think they could get any more gory than that. And yet they did in a way that I don't want to think about at
It
all.
was nuts this season, so it was definitely great.
Todd, what about the Umbrella Academy?
I thought it was really,
really liked
really
it.
good. I liked it a lot. It's it would definitely be on my list.
Yeah,
I
the
got
Sparrow,
3
the Sparrow
episodes
Academy
in.
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got 3 episodes into the new season and just didn't go back. Not because I didn't like it, but there was other things I wanted to watch more. So I definitely would like to go back and finish the season, but
Yeah.
didn't
I like
seem
the
as
I like the
compelling.
Sparrow Academy. There's a lot of like navel gazing, I guess, here, with these 2 academies. So I didn't think it was the strongest of the seasons. Good, but
Yeah.
not as strong.
And the show that always starts slow and ends great is Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah,
We just finished it last night.
Yeah.
So good.
yeah.
I
So
haven't
good.
seen that yet. The only shows I had on my list that weren't mentioned yet were Ozark and
Ozark was good.
Better Call Saul. The finale was good.
To go back to a show that Daryl mentioned earlier, I'm wondering if you get 2 seasons in the space of a year, as we did with Slow Horses, could you call that a returning series?
Right.
We had 2
Okay.
8-episode runs in the course of at one end of at opposite ends of a year.
Yeah,
Um, And that show is absolutely brilliant.
yeah.
and
It's
The thing
amazing.
that really amazed me was, have you finished it?
I no, because I'm waiting for Patty to watch season 1 and finish it before
Okay.
we both watch.
So I'm not
season
gonna spoil it here, but season 1
But he's gonna anyway.
is extremely faithful to the first book. Season 2 takes the basic story from the second book and simplifies the plot, but then moves it in such a way that they can go forward. And they did a great job adapting it and changing it. But I was expecting it to be like the first one, where it was like, the best lines came right out of that. It was just very different. And so they're doing some different things now that they're into it. And that's great because there's 8 books and I've read them all. So there's going to be interesting different things. And if you haven't watched it, you just got to see this for Gary Oldman. He's like the best character on TV right now.
Yep. He said this will be his last role, I think, right?
But there's 8 books and the guy is still writing.
I know.
So this could be his last role.
Well,
but
let me-
it may get
like-
him into the 2030s.
So I think, Todd, you and I talked about this. Like, I've always liked Gary Oldman, respected him. After seeing this, I'm interested in going through his back catalog. He is so amazing. Like, I will see anything with Gary Oldman
But
in
the
it
thing
now.
is, the really cool thing with him is he is different in every single thing. And the other night we watched the 20th anniversary Harry Potter show, and there was a bunch of him in that in the present day, talking about playing Sirius Black back in the day and stuff. And just an amazing actor, just really, really amazing. And he basically took Daniel Radcliffe under his wing because they had to have a kind of familial connection. And so they hung around, this is a 14-year-old kid and him, and they would go over, they would practice line, they would do all this other stuff that, he was not responsible for doing, but he wanted to build that bond. And it's just, he's just a great actor. So And this role, like I said, he's probably the most despicable person you can imagine, and you cannot take your eyes away from him. It's just great. Yep. And still a good guy. So.
By my count, we're going to do 4 hours because we've done 45 minutes and we're through 3
the
categories.
next category is books. I feel it'll go quickly.
Yeah, I think it's going to go
Books and
really
music, I have 0.
Yeah, me too.
Music
So
is
Barry,
there just
you're
for
going to
me.
lead us off with books, and you claim you don't read. So go
I
ahead.
honestly went through books that I would have gotten this year to try to come up with, and I don't think I got a new book in 2022. So.
Really? Not even the book companion to some Beatles something or other?
No, because that came out in 2021.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think that was my book from last year in this show. So skip me. I don't have a book.
Book, Todd.
Oh, Recursion or Upgrade by Blake Crouch. You also should read Recursion. But Blake Crouch writes these great kind of very near future science fiction things. In this case, this is a guy who investigates genetic tampering, which is criminalized, but someone tampers with his genome, and so he basically has to figure out who did that while he's himself being pursued. And it's a really, really good book. And again, all his stuff is great. So I would really recommend him.
Dave will go next.
Okay.
Daryl's left the building. I can't remember when I read it. So really a book is when you read it, not when it came out. So did I read Hail Mary this year? If I did, that is...
It came out last year. But I
So
think
I think
read
I
it.
read
But
it.
you hadn't read it.
this
You
year.
had not read it.
I read it this year, and
Yeah.
it's just fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
So when I started going back to work in the city, I started reading books on the train again because I hadn't really read, and that was the first one I read, and it was one of those books. It's like I'm so sorry it's over, and I was desperate to find something nearly as good to follow it up, and I did not.
I have
Todd
found
recommended something that was just horrible.
nothing.
And
Totally not horrible. It's an excellent book. But
what was that book?
When the Sparrow Falls.
Don't read that. It is incredibly depressing and boring.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And then I read The Three Body Problem, which was
Daryl's
just-
holding it up.
You
Daryl's
You did read the Three Body Problem?
I stopped in the middle. It was just going nowhere.
Three
I
Body
thought
Problem is better to listen to than actually.
It was-
I think,
it
than
was-
to read.
It
just
is better to
never
listen to. I would
got
say the
anywhere.
biggest, and I got through all 3 volumes of Three Body Problem, and I think it's great. It's
going to be a series, which
gonna be
God
serious.
knows what they're going to do.
It's hard to. I mean, Todd's capacity to sort of barrel through something, whether he's fully enjoying it or not, is different than most people.
I think so.
But I enjoyed Three Body Problem too.
Really?
But I-
Okay, no
the
offense,
audiobook.
Barry, but you claim you don't read, and you like that. I'm
Oh, yeah, I
halfway through.
listened to it.
I stopped halfway through. Nothing happened.
It is
I
that
listened
is a
to
book.
it. It was
that
better
is-
to me that I could not have read that in an actual
But
book.
nothing happened halfway through the book.
No. I totally disagree. But anyways, people, you should read it.
Project Hail Mary. Daryl, we skipped you. Book. Did you have a book?
Now, so my great thing is I just don't have time to read like I used to read. And I don't know, for someone who's retired, that's
I was just going to say.
I was just trying to
So I've got
piece that together.
I've got all these great books to read, and I just don't have time to read it. So that's got to tie into one of my New Year's resolutions is more reading.
Well, then I
have
can
to do
circle back because I got a book. Because I thought this was a book that came out in 2022.
I thought so too.
Then my book would be and we talked about it a few weeks ago, but The Making of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which I just got. I don't know, 2 months
Me too.
ago.
It's right there.
It was. I really enjoyed that.
I also read the second book in the Terminal List series. But I'm reading the second and third book by Jack Carr, which is fun to read. Fun if you like killing people.
I was gonna say, if you like gun porn,
Yeah. Brian.
So I read a lot of nonfiction, strangely enough, and David McCullough has written a series of books, and the one on the Wright brothers is particularly great.
okay.
It's everything
Did
you
he
ever
pass
want to know
away?
about the Wright brothers. Yeah, he just did.
He was in the CBS Sunday
Yeah.
Morning thing.
Yeah. He wrote a really good book on the Brooklyn Bridge, which I also read, but my favorite one was the Wright brothers this year.
Cool. Barry, we didn't do you, right? We
I
did
just
everybody.
jumped in with the
Todd,
Star
did we
Trek
do
book,
you?
So.
No, we didn't do Todd.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
What did
You said
you did. We did. Okay, we
recursion
did
and
everybody.
upgrade.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
So on
Okay.
to our next short category, music.
Music. We're
Barry.
starting
Just
with.
start with Barry again.
Before we just move off on the book, if you have, and I can say, again, if you have listened to Project, or you have read Project Hail Mary, okay, and you really liked it, listen to it. The audiobook is absolutely brilliant, and there's a musical element to it that you can't get reading it. And the production on that is amazing. Ray Porter does it, the same person who does he does a bunch of things. He also does the Jack Carr books, but he's a great reader. But they actually hired a composer to do I'm not going to spoil it.
The
to do
musical part, yeah.
the musical part. And so anyways, it's brilliant. I'm re-listening to it right now, and I'm
Yeah,
I don't know
I don't
how-
think it gives anything away to say one of the characters speaks in musical tones.
musical
And-
tones, and to hear it as the person's speaking and it being translated in real time, it's fantastic. And if you've read the book, you can start listening to the audiobook halfway through, but it's just a great presentation of that. So
How many books are you currently listening to?
I listen to 2 books a month at a minimum, but
Aren't you listening to the Terminal List and this other book at the same time?
That's a re-listen. Okay. So like there's always like,
That doesn't
I always
count.
know, but I always have a handful of books
Returning books.
that I can basically just go back and listen to parts of it that I've already listened to anytime. The Martian is one of those books. Sandman is now on that list. I'll listen to chapters from the Sandman adaptation that they did. But yeah, no, I'm barreling through the first Jack Carr book right now, and I'll
Yeah, and my brain works in too linear of a fashion. If I'm listening to an audiobook, I can't inject other things because it just will confuse me.
I just don't have the time to listen. I mean,
Well, I
I've
used
added
to
up-
listen to a lot more when I was commuting more, but now that I'm not commuting as much.
I've added up all the time that Todd takes to do things. It's 36 hours a day, every day.
yeah. And your
Between-
point,
Between
See, that's-
movies, shows, comics, books,
I don't know how you
audiobooks.
get through all the
have
stuff you get through.
if you've got 2 sets of earbuds and you pair one with your phone and one with your tablet, you can listen to 2 audiobooks at once. So while
Oh, that's-
watching a series on Amazon, because the plots aren't that deep. So really, yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Does anyone other than Barry have music?
No.
Brian
Oh,
does.
so let's let Brian go first then.
Well, it's not anything contemporary, but I picked up a vinyl copy of The Bride of Frankenstein music.
Wow.
I know it's offbeat. Yeah, it's really cool.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it's hard to listen to. You have to actually sit down and listen to it because it is on a record that you have to flip over and listen to. But yeah, there's a company making vinyl reprints, presses of old horror movie and other movie soundtracks.
Interesting.
So it was a reach, but I found one for me.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to hit a couple of quick ones. I know none of this is anything any of you are going to listen to, but my 3 top albums for 2022. There's a guy named Butch Walker who none of you have heard of, but if you listen to the bumper that we have for our Shirt Up segment that we haven't done in a long time, he's the guy singing that song. He was in a band years back called The Marvelous Three. That song that we use in that bumper is from that band, but he's been a solo artist for years. He put out a new album this year called Glenn, and it's amazing. So, and I was turning people onto it here at my house last night. Yes, I had probably had a few drinks into me at that point, but everybody was digging it. So I'll say Glenn by Butch Walker. There's a band I really like called the Drive By Truckers. They put out an album called Welcome to Club 13 this year. It was really good. And then the wild card is a band that is no longer active, but a band called Smithereens, whose lead singer died in 2017. But they found in their archives an album they recorded in '93 when they were between labels, and it never got released. And they released it this year, and it's actually really good. So it's out now called The Lost Album, and it's great. So
when we go to Long Island Comic Con, we're kicking around the room doing nothing for so much time. You should just play the stuff you like so we can hear it. Because I haven't heard any of these bands.
Yeah, well, nobody has. I mean, I'm naming.
Yeah.
I like weird music,
I
but
just want to know if you guys are going to invite me the next time you go to the Long Island Comic Con.
Rhode Island Comic Con.
Oh,
sorry, Rhode Island.
okay.
yeah, well, you've been to the Long Island Comic Cons. They
Yeah,
kind
well,
of
I
suck,
have.
which is why
There were two, and one didn't happen this year, did it?
Too many
believe-
islands. Sorry.
What's funny is they had so Dave and I were texting about this. There was a website up for that WinterCon, and it was listing current like this year's dates. But then when you go to the guest list, it said coming soon. I'm like, but the show's in 2 days. How is the guest list not updated? and I was going to be away anyway. So, but they canceled it. So yeah,
And that's been a decent show for
yeah. I mean,
fun
for guests,
guests sometimes.
we've gotten Star Wars actors there. The whole Blade Runner cast.
Blade
was there
Runner,
in
yeah.
there. Who else? I got George Lazenby for you at that
Yeah.
show. It's been good people.
Aliens people have been there.
Yeah, the whole Alien,
Yeah.
cast was there. So
I don't know if
Harrison
you guys
Ford
have heard
there?
this, but there was a song that was big this year that let's just see here.
Please, not that Kate Bush song.
Oh, God damn, I can't.
I never liked this song when it was new.
It's awful all the
Oh
time.
my God! It's like that is the song that
Everywhere.
I'm so okay to not hear again. And I did not mind it when it first came out, but oh my God!
At least that show also resurrected Master of Puppets, because that at least is a song
You don't resurrect Master of Puppets. That's a perennial.
Yeah, all right. That was a year in music for me. I'm sure there were albums by pop
Wednesday's rendition of Painted Black was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
On
There's
the
been some
cello.
music used in other shows this year that I just scratched my head at and said, why?
Yeah, I do for music. I watched the Howard Stern Bruce Springsteen interview thing, and I do have on my list to watch the Netflix thing of his Broadway show,
Which is great.
But I do have on my list to find a copy of Greetings from Asbury Park, because I think being from the next town over, I need to own that. And he did play at my high school before I was there, and before he was famous. So
He released an album this year, but it certainly didn't make my list. It's unfortunate.
yeah, I heard parts.
He
of
put out an album of like
covers, obscure.
covers that are like Motown kind of covers,
Yeah.
and it's just not good. I mean, I listened to it, but anyway.
Okay. Next lightning round of streaming service. I don't know who we are. Todd, why don't you go first, and then we'll start.
Disney
over.
Plus next.
Same with Daryl. I would say
Disney Plus.
me too. Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Yeah.
Disney Plus and Spotify. Those are my two favorite streaming services.
Honorable
I'll
mention
give an
Apple-
honorable mention
Apple
to
TV.
Amazon Prime, because it's
Yeah,
just,
they did have some good stuff this year, but yeah.
Disney Plus is killing it.
Of all of the
It-
services I pay for, Disney Plus is the one I don't mind paying for. The rest of them, I
Never-
sometimes go,
there's-
why am I still paying for Hulu?
There's
Why
never
am I still
reason to
paying
question
for...
that purchase.
Especially
and-
for the price. Even
It's
what
cheap.
renewed, we're paying $7 a month versus I'm paying $16 for freaking Netflix. It's ridiculous.
I'm paying $19 for Netflix.
Yeah.
I do question Netflix. That's
And-
the,
I mean, Wednesday's
Hulu,
on. And
my
I'm
wife
watching,
actually told me the other day, she's like, cancel Hulu until something good starts up
I
again.
don't. That's the one I'm not paying for.
we get a bundle with Hulu and Disney Plus, so we can axe Hulu.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Patty, I think, gets all our home shows through that bundle or something like that. There's a lot of other benefits to it than that.
I think I watched the least for the most is definitely Netflix. Although thankfully Wednesday's on there,
Yeah.
and we just watched something else.
Glass Onion's on there too.
Glass
Glass
Onion's
Onion.
on there.
That's what
Dead
made me
Timmy's on
question
there
my
if you're
But
watching
decision.
strangely enough,
Pay for
the
it.
Knives Out isn't. You can't. Knives Out's not on Netflix.
No, because Netflix, after Knives Out came up, they came in and gave them a lot of money to make it exclusive and took it. But it's surprising that the first one isn't on there.
No, because that was a released in the theaters kind of deal. Okay, next is we're going to start from the top again with Daryl. Event of 2022.
So I just attended a bunch of small toy shows between Atlanta and Louisville. I didn't really go to anything big this year, and I didn't go to Star Wars Celebration, so I kind of regret that. But it's
There
all
wasn't
been
one this year. Was there?
It's-
Yeah, there was. I went.
yeah.
There was one this year.
There
Brian
was.
Mine.
Brian was there. I regret that. Brian, you can talk about that. But for me, it was all just small toy shows, seeing friends, things like that.
Cool. Oh,
Next.
well, not necessarily an event, but I went to Disney World, and Todd and I were there at the same time, and we enjoyed many event and expenditure. I will not forget. There's a picture of us with all our bags from the Doc Ondark's Emporium, and there's nothing like being forced to buy something by just someone else buying stuff too. So that was always a good time.
Well, it's nice to do it in person because we do it over the podcast all the time, but nice to actually peer pressure in person.
Oh yeah, it was.
We were both buying multiple.
It was
lightsabers.
brutal. Yep.
And then Mark's like, "Mom's going to be mad." I'm like, "I'm buying another one. Don't ever say
I'm
that."
hoping to do that again very soon because both Dave and I will be there at some point in the near future, and I'm hoping to do that. So.
I think I'm going in March. In fact, I know I'm going in March.
I think we're going in March too. We should compare dates. So
I know an event I attended that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. I attended the Chattajack 2022.
Yes.
Boat race down the.
That is true. Yeah, you did.
Todd was here. Karen was in that, so he came to town, and we participated. We didn't participate in that. Karen did, but we were there at the beginning and the end. That was awesome.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome.
Brian?
So my wife and I went and saw The Music Man with Wolverine.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Hugh Jackman, The Music Man. It was delightful. He's fantastic.
Cool. Barry?
I mean, are we the obvious choice is Rhode Island Comic Con?
Sure,
I guess.
of course it is. It's always the obvious
because we all. I mean, unfortunately, Daryl wasn't there this year, but
sorry.
So the other one I would say, and I apologize, Dave, if this rubs salt in a wound, but Todd and I went to the premiere of Strange New Worlds in New York City, and that was actually that was a lot of fun. It was
a lot of fun.
I bet. Yeah.
Just the display they had there. I know you ultimately got to see the display.
Yeah.
So
it was cool.
So that was actually a lot of fun to see that.
So you guys have all covered mine. So that's great. So, yeah. I don't have to choose. I don't have to choose now. But it was
my other one, my honorable mention. I took my son Joey to see Yes at Westbury Music Fair around Thanksgiving, and I was shocked at how good they still sounded. So that was actually a lot of fun.
So, I was going to say all the way around, it was just nice getting out a little bit. So
yeah.
And Daryl, if you've been to Celebration before, you've been to this Celebration. There was nothing really new. Except a few of my robot builder buddies had some really cool droids, but that was all it was.
I love Celebration. I wish I can go, but I'm not going to England for this one.
The one event of Celebration that I really regret not going and getting getting in for is the Mandalorian experience. That looked
the line was 3 hours long. I didn't get into it either.
Yeah, that looked like beyond like anything that could have been promised.
Yeah,
it looked amazing.
It was amazing how much stuff they brought there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was blown away, Barry, by seeing the pictures of it. But even the pictures made it like, oh my gosh, I'm glad they staged this.
Yeah.
Because it shows they really care. That team really does, care.
Okay, moving right along. I'm next. So collectible purchase. That is a wide category. Something you collect, which we all do. Even Brian does this. Well, you do collect, but now you're into other stuff too. But anyway, collectible purchase, and we do buy a lot of collectibles. But I do have to say, and there it is, right there, the original series triple.
Yeah.
So it feels like a very long time in coming, and I'm so happy about it.
We got to fondle it when we were at Dave's the other night.
Oh man,
I think Todd even sniffed it.
Yep, I did sniff it.
Old, right?
Yep. Tasted old too when you weren't in the room.
It is cool to just be in its presence. I mean, we have a bunch of other
60s.
tribbles from actual screen used tribbles, but not like original series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be able to get something like that. So
EOS triple.
Definitely.
You have a good story that goes with it too.
Good job.
I do.
Congratulations.
Well, just where it came from.
Yeah. It's from it was from David Gerald's collection, so it's great. Yeah.
Great story.
Very happy with that. Brian?
It's got to be the 1966 Batmobile.
I figured you'd say that. So.
Yeah. It is fantastic.
1/6 scale. We got
1/6 scale Batmobile. It is this big.
Have you gotten it out of the box yet and set it up?
No, I don't. No, I opened the box and took the top off, so I look at it in the box, opened the trunk, looked in it, and that was about it.
Yeah.
Put it back in the box because I got to find a place where I'm going to display it before I take it out and let it get dusty or full of fingerprints. But the flames, there's a flame module that clicks on the back out, and it's this big.
Yeah, I saw a picture.
That's
of it.
just the flame. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, I can't wait to. I gotta find a really good display for it. I've seen some guys doing pictures of their displays that look really cool. So
I saw pictures yesterday of a guy who, not the Batmobile, but bought the Millennium Falcon cockpit that you have. He bought 2 of them because he has the Han and Chewie from A New Hope in one of them, and the old Han from The Force Awakens in the other one.
wow,
I was like, wow, that's a commitment.
yeah, I was thinking you could put Ray. You could put Ray and old Han in one. I thought that'd be interesting too. But I'm 3/4 the way there now. So I have Han, Chewie, and I picked up a Luke.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
And I'm just trying to get an Obi-Wan, and I just missed out on one. So I got to.
Wow. Well, we'll touch on that again when we get to New Year's resolutions, won't we?
Yes. Yes. Yes, we will.
Cool. Barry.
I think my favorite piece that I got this year was the Regal Robot Holochess Body Slam thing. It's just so cool. Part of me regrets not getting the whole series, but I didn't have the space to display them all. And if I was going to get any of them, that was the one I would have wanted. I think that's my favorite.
Cool. Todd.
It is, and I thought a lot about this. I went all the way around the room and stuff. I just freaking love this Iron Man statue. It's Kodabukaya. I got it from our sponsor. Absolutely amazing. It is just the total personification of the comic Iron Man. And there's a lot of good adaptations, the MCU Iron Man, but nothing that's as dynamic, as cool as this related to the comics one. And I freaking love it. And I have kind of a set of shelves where all my statues are. This doesn't sit there. This sits off by itself on the Iron Man shrine. And I just freaking love it. So that's my non-action figure collectible. So
Daryl.
This was a year of cardboard for me. I realized, I know cardboard controls my life in the sense that I'm a Magic the Gathering collector. And I think this is the year where Wizards of the Coast went insane. There are so many sets and so many subsets and collectible sets in Magic that it's awesome, but it feels like it's a huge balloon that's about to burst. So, but one of the best sets that came out was a collaboration with Warhammer 40K. And that was a really epic set, very fun to collect. And my other favorite thing, there was another Mars Attacks set that came out this year that was a crowdfunded one, Mars Attacks Uprising. So that was super, super fun to collect. I love that series. So it goes up on the shelf next to all the other ones. So, but definitely this was a year of cardboard conquest for me.
At least they don't take up a lot of space, right?
No, it's just a little binder, but you add it up with all the other stuff I collect, the wacky packages and Batman cards and all that stuff. I mean, it takes up a few shelves in a bookcase. Yeah. So, but actually, the Magic is starting to get out of control, where it's like almost half a shelf worth of sets a year, whereas the first almost as much comes out now in 1 year as it did during like the first 10 years of Magic. It's like stuff is coming out at such a fast pace.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how people can keep up. I'm barely keeping up.
I saw a statistic yesterday that said, and I don't know if you can corroborate this, Daryl, from your history, but they said 25% of all toys sold are for adult collectors, and that it accounts for $9 billion a year.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And you can see that in the way that Hasbro's pivoted their releases over. They don't really, there's not a lot of kid targeted action figures anymore.
So it's no longer the pimple on the elephant's ass. Is that
it's no longer the great Al Verrecchia quote, the pimple on the elephant's ass. It's driving the category bouquet, and it'll only get bigger, especially as the kid dollars kind of fall away.
Yeah, the adult dollars will spend more. So that's
I don't know
money
if you walked the toy aisle at Christmas at all, but there is a lot of pegs full of stuff in the aisle that we usually walk down that just weren't going anywhere to either kids or fans.
Yeah, I saw the same thing.
Are you able to get those sets? Like the Magic comes out with whatever the set is, 50 cards or whatever it is. Or is it like the collecting and opening packs, or you're able to get the whole set?
No, yeah, it's both ways. Sometimes the set comes out, and sometimes I have to go on eBay and buy it from people who've collated complete sets. But now Magic is doing this thing where they'll come out with a set of, say, some of these sets are 900 cards now, but so I'm serious. So a lot of them are re-releases with new art and, new set expansion stuff and all that. But a lot of them are the same cards that were out before. But what they do is they take those 900 cards and they say, okay, 320 of them are going to be in these collectible boosters. 200 are going to be in commander decks. That's this unique format. And they split it all up, and they're getting so big. There's actually one set where I opened it up and I was missing cards 1 through 8. And WotC doesn't even publish a card list for this Magic set. So I had to email their their customer service. They couldn't even provide one. So things have become so big and out of control that they don't even do the thing anymore that they were good at, which is catering to collectors with information. They just dump stuff out into the marketplace. That's how big and bloated it's become. So to answer your question, Dave, it's far from simple. It's actually maddeningly complex now. So we can check in a year from now, but that's enough for Magic.
It does sound like you said it. It sounds like a bubble that's ripe for bursting. If it's gotten that bloated.
Yep.
This collectible category brought to you by Fanboy Collectibles. Check him out for, I don't know about Magic, for all your real collectible needs, not your frustrating ones. Hot Toys and Pops and Sideshow and Kodabukis and everything. Check those guys out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Spend your holiday dollars with them. They've got everything you want. Tell them the Regular Joe sent you.
I got a huge shipment from them coming up in the next category.
Nice. Who went? I went for. So there you go.
First?
Start off. Action figure.
Oh, non-collectible purchase.
Non-collectible.
Next.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was action figure purchase.
Next
But
is
anyway.
non-collectible. Like, what is your favorite non-collectible?
What does that even mean?
Well, like for example, mine would be the Lego bonsai set I got. I mean, that's not a collectible set. I don't think it's just
Okay.
In the past, we've done.
I totally
favorites-
skipped this.
just a toy.
Just 'cause you
Non-collectible
skipped
purchase.
it doesn't mean that.
No, I totally skipped it.
Oh.
So I'll
okay.
figure something out.
Or this could be life hacks. I don't know what it.
Non-collectible
I think in the
Favorite
past when we've
flashlight?
talked
I don't
about
know,
non-collectible, it's been like, is it a tech thing or a tool or something?
I bought a
that's-
pair of jeans from
Okay.
Banana Republic that have been awesome, by the way. Anyway, Brian, what's your favorite non-collectible purchase?
I bought a house this year. So
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a big
Yeah.
one.
big house. Yep. More on that
Perfect.
later.
Barry?
Well, can a gift in this category count?
No,
You had to have bought it yourself.
I don't know.
No,
whatever
it's-
you want to go with.
Yeah, well, I'm going with these. This is a tool. It's a model making tool. These are God Hand. Then it's the name of the brand is God Hand, and these are model clippers. They're the best nippers I've ever used. I got these as a gift, but it was like I put it on my wish list, so I kinda
That's
was
close
thinking,
enough.
They're like super expensive, but they're really, really good. And the main difference is most of the nippers that you buy have a blade on either side and they just squeeze the model piece. This has a blade on one side and a flat edge on the other, and it actually cuts the model piece instead. And so you get a super clean cut where most of the time you don't even need to file it or sand it or do anything.
This for sprue removal. God
Yes,
hand.
for sprue for
I
sprue
need one of
removal.
those.
They're
hand.
like $45, but you know what? They're really, really freaking good. So that's my favorite.
Cool. Todd?
Mine is my intense taser, which is not a
boy.
taser. I have a basement full of bikes. This is a bike I did not think that I needed, and I freaking love this thing. It's an e-bike, mountain bike, and
Does
because
that mean
of
you can smoke tobacco with it?
because of my knees, which basically are built from spare parts, I could pretty much, if I ride hard, I got to take a day off in between. This is the day off in between ride because it's assist, and it's just been an absolute blast to ride this thing. It's like halfway between, well, again, it's not really a mountain bike, but it is. My favorite thing to do in the fall with it was to try to beat the sunset. I've got a 3.5 mile loop, including climbing a hill and getting back down. And I would try to do that before the sunset. And I cut it closer and closer every single time. And this thing just hauls ass. It's great. And I absolutely love it. And like I said, it was something I didn't know I wanted until my bike pusher said, you've got to try this. And it was all over after that. So hopefully I'll never spend this much on a bike again, but it's amazing. So again, not a Taser, but it is a Taser. So anyways, that's it. The Intense Taser. Look it up. Very cool.
Daryl?
Let's see. I've been using the Lego online Pick-a-Brick service. If anyone is into Lego, this is a way to buy individual parts directly from Lego. It's like what they have is way beyond, like if you go into a Lego store and they have that Pick-a-Brick wall, tons of special parts. And it's actually been life-changing for me for the type of Lego I collect. I collect all the animals that come out from the different series for my eventual custom build project. And it's an awesome thing. You can just go on there, pop in a set number, see what they have available for it, and just order as many parts as you want. They don't have everything. Some things sell out. I expect to probably a lot of people who resell Lego parts on Bricklink or whatever, but Lego Pick-a-Brick has been, my big hack this year that I really have done a lot with.
Daryl, do you know about the factory tour?
No, I don't.
Oh, we'll talk offline about it. It's so my secret for my invisible friend who collects action figures is also a huge Lego guy. He just went on the factory tour, and it is Lego heaven.
Nice.
Yeah, you told us about this when we were in Rhode Island. Yeah.
Yeah, you go to the source where they actually make the Lego bricks.
Nice. So some of the factories, is that in the U.S.?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's in.
But they've got a few factories.
Denmark,
around.
right?
It's in Denmark.
So,
yeah, this factory tour is in Denmark.
Nice.
I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't know that I've bought anything. That's a joke. I can't even remember what I've bought.
Wait a minute. What?
You've got to have some new Ryobi tool you bought that takes your 40-volt battery. How's your snowblower?
18-volt battery, by the way. And I got to say, the Ryobi tools are great. I use Milwaukee tools and I use Ryobi tools. The less frequently used tools are Ryobi because they're not nearly as expensive. But the ones I actually just got a battery-powered shop vac, which is small, Milwaukee,
Really?
which is awesome. But that's next year because I bought it. No, I bought it yesterday, so it was. Because you ever have? There's two things this year that I said to myself. I was making a cake or something, which I don't often do, but I do once in a while. And I'm like, this freaking hand blender with the cord is so stupid. They need to make a cordless hand blender. And I looked it up, and there's a cordless hand blender. Yeah, so I bought one of those. And then I was vacuuming up something.
Does it use your Ryobi batteries?
It does not. It's just rechargeable. And then I was vacuuming. I'm like, I got to get the shop vac up because I'm in the closet. I was cutting something. There's sawdust everywhere. I'm like, I need a battery-powered vacuum. And I didn't have one. But it's about the size of a milk crate, a little smaller, and it takes the Milwaukee batteries. And it's awesome. So that's my favorite purchase.
This year, Ryobi got me for a lawnmower and a chainsaw. And they're
nice. Those are the 40-volt probably. Or maybe the 18 is the chainsaw.
But the 40s. And but just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, cool. Now we're going action figure. So,
yes.
Barry.
There was a lot of new action figures this year. But my absolute favorite was the Hot Toys Luke Skywalker Snowspeeder pilot.
Oh, you finally got it. That was you're looking forward to last year.
It's amazing. I mean, the likeness is good, but the detailing, the helmet is amazing. The way the helmet goes on. Oh, Dave's got it.
There he is.
I have it right here on my desk. I haven't put it away yet.
The way the helmet, the way that you have to put the helmet on so it doesn't go out of scale. Like so many times, you fit the helmet on, it's out of scale. But they have you put the helmet on in pieces, and it's just great. It's just such a great figure. My runner up was the Asmus Bilbo Baggins figure.
Mine too.
Yeah, I figured you would love that one. But it's amazing. It really is great. And I had asked for Christmas and didn't get the Asmus Gandalf figure, which I might have to try to track down on my own. Apparently, it was sold out everywhere.
I have to sleep with you. I cannot have you have Gandalf toys.
Well, it's a pretty cool figure. But yeah, the Luke is my favorite, I think, of everything I got this year.
Todd?
I'm going to say anything by EX06. They're all brilliant, and I'm super pleased with all of them. And you order them, you blink, they're here.
It's nice to actually
At least the
pre-order
most
something
recent
and have
one.
it show up
And
2 weeks later.
To when you order something and you 18 months, 2 years later it shows up. That's nice, I guess. But boy, when but these things are the turnaround on these things is great, and the quality is improving with every single figure, and they're hitting the hell out of a universe I love, and I just can't wait to see more of it. So we all got one last week, and it's absolutely phenomenal. So
We'll talk. Maybe that'll be a what's in the box next episode.
But it's going to take a lot for Hot Toys to really impress me with something right now. But these things, every time you open one, there's something.
Yeah.
Well, and what's really interesting is that and I understand why, but the price of Hot Toys have been creeping up and up and up. And some of the newest pre-orders I'm ordering, Hot Toys, retail on them is like $265 now. These X06 figures are like $200. I mean,
And they have a lot less
$175.
The spot
They have a
figure
lot
we
less
just got,
accessories,
$175, and it doesn't come with a lot of accessories.
And you don't need them.
but that's it. But it's basically the stuff that I'm leaving in the box anyways. I don't
Yeah.
use stands. I'm going to change the hands, probably whatever, and I'm probably going to use the most common accessories. But then there's a whole ton of other shit that you just never use, but that's how they justify the price, and I'll keep buying those anyways. But these are awesome, and so
Daryl?
So I brought here my buddy Galactus. This is
oh
like a
my god,
toddler.
this thing is amazing.
this is the HasLab Galactus came
Wow.
this year, and it's I can't even fit it into any camera view here. It's unbelievable, but it's so big. It's like I call it my buddy Galactus.
It's a toddler.
Yeah, it's
It's a
like
toddler.
it's by far it's like the most amazing action figure. I like the points of articulation are ridiculous. Like the fingers are all have multiple points of articulation. Like every phalange or whatever they're called is on here. This thing is awesome. It came with 3 of Galactus's heralds. It lived up to its hype big time.
Wow.
So,
I will say I saw it, and it is absolutely amazing. I was disappointed to see it wasn't actual size. It should have been. It should have been about 350 feet.
yeah,
So, yeah. So
it's pretty. It's
but
pretty
it's
darn.
amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Pretty
That's
darn
cool.
close.
Very
And
cool.
so an honorable mention is this was kind of a delight. I didn't hear about this till late in the year, but the Disney parks put out a Droid Factory Advent calendar. Did you guys hear about this?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes like you get a piece a day, and over the course of the 25 days, you assemble a bunch of droids that look like, Buddy the Elf or a Nutcracker or
No, that's funny.
So cool.
Barry, you'll like this one. This is the Gonk droid, the 25th day
Ooh.
Gonk droid.
Look at
It's
that.
a present. It's awesome.
Well, I just saw today somebody posted that at the Disney parks they're now 50% off. So if it's still there when I go next month or this month, I'm gonna get one.
That's a deal.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it was
Definitely
like
get that.
50% off today.
That's cool.
That was my
cool.
little bonus action figure.
That's sweet.
I'm gonna go. I looked through my stuff. They're all sitting there because I haven't put them out yet. But the X06 Mirror Spock, they are just doing a great job. I love his dagger, and it's a magnet to his pants, and his phaser's magnetic. That's all the accessories you get, and that's all you need. They're really doing. The head sculpt's great. Doing a great job.
And they're trying out different things. Like we haven't gotten Cisco yet, but they made 2 versions of Cisco. The one that comes with almost no accessories, which is all you really want, and then they made a deluxe version, and I'm okay with that. I don't
I think
always
that's a
need the
great
deluxe
idea because some people are just going to make, just make rows of all of them or rows of the captains or whatever like that. And no, it's I think it's great, and It looks like they're going to keep going. I also love how they're skipping around. We know some people don't like that, but I like how they're kind of skipping around and doing different characters from different series, different films. And then we don't have to wait 5 years to get a character that we're excited for.
And some of the more obscure ones, they're doing what they're claiming are very limited runs, and they're selling out within an hour of them going up for pre-order, and that's
this
fun
is
too.
On this, and this is the final thing I'll say about them is, do not hesitate, because if these are going up for pre-sale, some of these are very, very short runs, and some of these are just really for sale for just a few hours. And if Dave hadn't given me a heads up on the Spock we just got, I would have missed it. And they're selling for crazy money right now. So,
Yeah. Brian?
So despite my New Year's resolution to buy fewer 1/6 figures, you guys have done everything you could to make that not happen, including Todd, who just sends me figures.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we've twisted your arm that hard, to be quite honest.
Well, my favorite one, by complete coincidence, Fanboys shipped Captain Carter and the Hydra Stomper like a week before Christmas. So again, with another arm twisting of Barry, when I bought the Captain Carter shield I gave my wife a full blast of Captain Carter for Christmas. It was she loved. She got the Captain Carter action figure and the Hydra Stomper and the shield, which was fantastic. It's an aluminum shield.
Yeah, I mean, you sent us a picture of us her holding it, but I was going to ask you how was the quality of it? Was it good?
Oh, fantastic! I mean, I've got a aluminum shield kit to build for Captain America's shield, and this one is like, oh god, I'm really going to have to really try hard to make it look as good as this. It is as good as it could be. Fantastic shield.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
And the action figure is awesome.
We twist each other's arms to buy stuff all the time, but you always hope it's going to be good quality when the person gets it.
Oh yeah, the shield was amazing.
You guys are a tough influence, but I've held off on Hot Toys.
Yeah, so she was very excited to have her very first Hot Toys figure, and of course I've been buying the figures for the Millennium Falcon. But
I joke all the time, when we started this podcast, I had 2 Hot Toys.
yeah.
Like I'm over 120.
Oh man. Wow.
I'm at 120 Detolf cases.
Yeah, I know. You need 'em.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The Hydra Stomper's awesome, by the way. Todd talked about it last show.
It's fantastic.
Really
and it's they did really great stuff with that, and it's perfect. So, very cool.
I want to make sure so I have next is, we're biggest pop culture disappointment. Now that is very wide ranging.
Right.
So, Todd, is that you? Yes. You go first.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. The demise of Eagle Moss. I got to say, I did buy a lot more from them but there's I'll see a cool ship in a show or something like that in the Orville this year and stuff like that. It'd be I love that ship. And I was like, yeah, nobody's going to make that ship.
They made too much stuff. They just made too much stuff.
They had too many licenses. They were too stretched out. But watching Avatar, the Way of Water, I was looking at these little crab subs they had, and I was like, the Moss would have made those. That would be kind of neat. And I would have bought those. It's just sad. And I know they made some bad decisions, and I think the last thing I got from them was my Rocinante, which I love.
Which is I'm glad you got it before they shut down.
Yeah. And again, like I said, I love the Strange New. It's actually the Discovery Enterprise, and but like I said, there's other ships in that show that I would love to see, and I hope somebody else picks up Matt Mantle. But that was the most disappointing thing I think for me. And it does kind of loosely tie into pop. Well, it does tie directly.
That's a pop. It's wide-reaching, that category.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I think of this category, I think mostly of movies and TV shows. But absolutely fits.
Yep.
Daryl.
So I have one show one and then one toy one. I'll start with the toy one. So late in 2021, HasLab, Hasbro's crowdfunding arm, launched the G.I. Joe Sky Striker, and that had so much promise. What made this initiative so great is that they put a ton of what's called old school O-ring G.I. Joe figures into this Kickstarter, and it really looked like it was going to be a new age of O-ring figure celebrations from Hasbro. So that ship is going to ship, I think, within the next month. I think I got the shipping notice. I ordered a few of those. I was so excited. But since then, in the 12 months that have really followed that, Hasbro hasn't done anything. They haven't announced anything with O-rings. They continue to do a lot of G.I. Joe 6-inch stuff, but really not in 3 3/4. I consider that a very big disappointment. After a big promise, there's really been no follow-up and no commitment to that. So,
Daryl, help me here, not being a G.I. Joe guy. What is an O-ring? You've mentioned this a number of shows.
the original, so you know the original Star Wars 3 3/4 figures, Brian, from Kenner.
Right. Yeah.
So when Hasbro launched G.I. Joe in 1982, they took the size of those figures, so 3 3/4 figures, but they were constructed very differently. They had a rubber band and O-ring in the chest, and that allowed them, that kept the figure together, but it allowed the figure to articulate at the waist and the legs. And those G.I. Joes had an amazing amount of articulation for what was kind of a simple build, a simple aesthetic. I mean, it was far more complex than the Star Wars figures, but they had almost infinite articulation because of that, the ability to pose it like that. So it's very beloved. And G.I. Joe was released that way from 82 to 94. So, the hundreds of G.I. Joe figures that came out that way. So what looked like it was a great promise, wasn't delivered. And that leads into my second one, which is the Book of Boba Fett. And kind of enough said there, I think. That was my big disappointment.
Cool. Me.
Dave,
Is it me?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say, and I'm going to go with a movie. I'm going to say Thor Love and Thunder, because the promise of the follow-up from the previous Thor, Taika Waititi, the director, seemed like, he could do no wrong. He did a great job with that. He directed some Mandalorians. He was IG-88. He was a character in Suicide Squad, although brief. And he seemed like, and we really thought like this is going to be a great sequel. And it was just a huge disappointment. So I will go. I have some other things, but I will go with Thor as the biggest disappointment, because I expected of all the movies last year, I expected the most out of that, and it was just not good.
I rewatched Ragnarok this past weekend, and I hope this goes away for me. But now, as I'm watching Ragnarok, I can't get out of my head, how did he follow this up with such a bad movie?
Yeah.
Because it just works on every single level. The tone shifts in that are perfect, and it just goes back and forth from dark to light perfectly. And this one, it just feels so wrong in every single way. And
Yeah, you guys warned me off it. I haven't even seen it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Brian, what do you got?
I got a hot take. This will be controversial. My biggest pop culture disappointment was Andor.
Ooh.
It was just went on forever. Every 3 episodes could have been condensed to 1. It felt like the guy pitched a great 6-episode show. They go, "Ooh, we need 12." Oh, I can.
Yeah,
I'll make it
could be a
12.
little of
I'll make
that.
it 12. And it just slog. It was a slog. It was a slog to get through Andor.
I can see that, but
I was
could not
and-
disagree
not as
more.
much as you can see.
I don't
that,
agree,
could
but I
not disagree.
respect
and
your
saying
opinion.
disappointment because I had such high expectations for
Okay.
it.
That
And
I can
it
understand.
disappointed
that.
me.
But it's I think it's brilliant storytelling, and it's a thing they've never done before. We've seen so much of the same thing over and over again. But
Call me a neophyte, but I subscribe to the theory that if there's not a lightsaber battle or a space battle in it, it's not Star Wars. It's something else.
There was one, but anyway, Barry.
that had both.
All right, 3-way tie.
Oh boy.
Picard season 2,
That was
Discovery season 4,
Which
and
season 4?
Willow, the TV show.
How is Discovery a disappointment? Because it's always disappointing.
Well,
Yeah, how could your expectations be high for that show at all?
and I'll be honest, Picard season 3 looks like it could be really good, and
I
I
agree with
have to
that.
sit through 2 shitty seasons to get to what this show should have been in the first place.
I'm with you.
Barry,
Yeah.
I think by nature, a disappointment requires high expectations, right? Am I wrong in this?
We'll give him Willow.
I don't think Discovery can be disappointing at
Okay,
this point.
well then, Picard season 2 and Willow.
No question.
And
Willow.
Willow.
Barry,
Floor.
when Barry was 6 years old, he saw Willow, and it was the highlight of his life. And now, 50 years later, he expected the series to be the same. And it wasn't.
No. But when
As
you
a
look at the
child-
people that are
Have you
involved,
stayed with it, Barry?
I have not watched the latest episode that's out yet. No.
Okay.
I will. I'm going to finish it.
Hoping for redemption.
Todd
Just let me
Pleasant
know.
rules apply. I don't expect it to get better. I'm just going to finish it. Yeah.
So Barry and I just finished Star Trek Prodigy, okay, which is 4 times the show Picard was, and it's just like, and it's truer to Star Trek in every single way than Picard was. Yeah.
I watched 20 episodes of that show in 3 days.
It's-
I mean, they're only a half hour piece, so it's not that hard, but still.
yeah, but
Todd, did you go? I can't remember where we are.
yeah, I did.
Is that
was
everybody
yours?
gone?
Oh,
Yeah, Todd-
Eagle Moss.
Todd led
Okay,
off.
starting over. Next. Okay. Moving this along. Okay. So looking forward to category. So we have 3 things in the looking forward to category. Being who we are, pre-ordered item, of course, because we have lists of pre-ordered items.
Yeah.
And Daryl, we're starting with you.
So I already mentioned the G.I. Joe Sky Striker, but these are all like crowdfunded initiatives. One is Operation Recall, which is a G.I. Joe like O-ring figure line from Carson Metaxas. You guys might know him from G.I. Joe 3 3/4 World. He brought back the original G.I. Joe designers and engineers and package artists and sculptors from the G.I. Joe line in the 80s and 90s to come up with a retro G.I. Joe like line. And Kirk Bozigian's on the team. So they did it. They did a crowdfund, and all these figures just look like fun. They look like they have all the feeling of G.I. Joe. So
What are they called, Daryl?
it's Operation Recall. And I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's super fun. One of the guys I knew from Hasbro, Doug Hart, is doing all the packaging for that. And then the Ghostbusters Proton Pack is about to ship too, so I'm looking forward to that. So a lot of fun stuff coming.
Yeah,
this
I've
year.
seen some unboxing videos of that already. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
So Dave,
that is one of mine because I have the Ghostbusters Proton Pack coming as well. But I got to say the 36-inch Enterprise. I hope it comes this year.
Yeah,
but
it's supposed to come later this year, right? Like in the fall?
they're pretty far along. So I did jump on. Did any of you guys jump on, or was it just me?
You and Todd, I thought.
Shit, I did order that, didn't I?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited about it. So
I had some non-buyer's remorse for a little while, but then when I looked around, I have just nowhere to put it.
neither do I.
I know,
But I'm
You
looking
got
forward
more
to that.
Fun
space
for
in
that,
your house.
or are we getting billed for that later?
I don't really know.
Oh
I
yeah,
think-
no, that was it. It was like a while before I got charged. That's what it was. I was thinking like it didn't go through, but it did.
Yeah, you paid for it already, so
Yeah, I
you should
paid
look forward to it. So yeah, those 2 things. Those are the 2 big things I have pre-ordered. I got a bunch of Hot Toys and stuff, but those are the 2 big things. Brian?
The Machine Mecha Metropolis figure that 2 years ago, it'll be 2 years on order now. It's the Machine from Metropolis costume. So the costume goes on a figure of the
that's cool.
actress. Yeah, really cool.
1/6 scale or
1/6 scale.
nice.
That's really cool.
You weren't buying any more of those. I remember.
And yeah, I wasn't buying. Yeah, well, this is 2 years ago, so
Okay.
I'm not buying
before
them.
before you made your resolution.
They're still coming. And I wanted to mention here that the random here is Metropolis went into public domain today.
Oh wow!
So I suspect we'll be seeing lots more things from Metropolis over the next year or so, since it's now in public domain. You can do
I'm
whatever you
making
want.
a Japanese sex doll out of Maria.
1927, Brian, I think is that what we're on, like
Oh, no,
from 96 years ago, something like
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I read an article about that it was going into the public domain.
Wow.
X Plus just released a model kit of Maria, 1/8 scale.
Just
model
picked
kit.
one up. Yeah.
Yeah, it just came out. I haven't picked it up yet. But
Why
it's
1/8
great.
scale? That's ridiculous.
That's kind of the scale that figure model kits are typically made in.
Well, but yeah, anyway.
Like
Okay.
the Aurora kits, right? Set that standard.
Yep, I actually just got 2 Aurora kit monster model reissues for Christmas. I'm excited about
Which two?
the Mummy and Wolfman.
Are they the glow ones or the non-glow ones?
They are the glow ones, but when I build them, I don't use the glow parts.
No glow part,
When I
okay.
did the Forgotten Prisoner, I used the glow parts in the little guy in the cage at the bottom.
Okay.
But yeah, I actually already started working on the Mummy. I'm super excited about it.
Are those
Yeah,
polar
those are great.
lights?
Those are great kits.
Well, it's a company called Atlantis now, but it's the same tooling. Those tools just keep changing hands.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can get that model reissued with the glow parts and the non-glow parts for like $25 is great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Cool. Barry, you didn't go, I don't think.
I didn't go yet. No. I think the one I'm most excited about is the diecast Iron Man Mark 1 from Hot Toys that I ordered 553 days ago.
Oh, Jesus.
Still has not even come close to shipping yet, but I've wanted a Mark 1, and when they announced the diecast one over a year and a half ago, I ordered it.
Todd, you still have that on order, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Okay, that's important because I don't have a chit in for your non-diecast.
That's
one.
right. Yes.
Diecast one arrives. Okay.
It's yours.
The other one, which I'm really excited about, which I've seen is starting to ship in, to some people have it, so is the Mandalorian Queel figure. The little This Is the Way guy.
Yeah.
Not This Is the Way. He's the I Have Spoken guy.
Yeah.
The Nick Nolte character.
Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
I ordered that
Did you get a blurb?
604 days ago. 604 days ago. I
Is that
pre-ordered
Hot Toys?
Hot Toys, yeah.
Did you get a
Wow.
blurb?
I did not get the blurg. I've seen
You need a
videos of
blurg
it. It's
with
amazing.
Yeah.
It's just huge. I mean, as it is, I'm running out of space.
This
for
totally.
my
I
Hot
don't
Toys.
even know what's on my list of pre-orders. I have to figure out my honorable mentions. But
I'm
Todd,
very
what do you
aware,
got?
and they keep announcing new things that I'm really fighting hard not to pre-order.
Todd,
At least
what about
when
you?
you-
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
I'm actually just scanning my pre-orders, and I missed out on the Tony Stark mech test version, which came out, it was early on, and that is on there, and I'm really excited for that, and I hope that happens soon. But I think the thing I'm most interested in is the figure from the Batman and with the motorcycle. I think that's going to be cool, and I think that'll display well. And maybe I'm being optimistic to say I'm looking forward to it this year, but yeah, boy, there's still a crap load of stuff on here.
Oh yeah. And
Yep.
I want to throw something in that hasn't gone up for pre-order yet, but we've been talking about for over a year. The freaking tricorder from Wonka.
Yeah, I
Dave.
hesitated putting that on
We
my
were
list for
getting
this year.
monthly updates on that from them for a while, and then they've
Yeah.
gone very quiet on it. So I don't know what the
I
status.
think we'll see it this year, but I didn't put it on my list.
Because I mean, I would gladly have pre-ordered it just to lock in at this point, but who knows when it's coming out.
We'll get it.
Something I've learned from the Innovus fiasco is when you make a contract with a Chinese manufacturing company, if 6 months down the line they decide that they don't have space for you or that you're not paying enough, they'll just not do it.
Yeah.
And you have to go find somebody else. So I suspect at the quantities they're going to build, they're running into that kind of problem.
I feel like that's a very long Chinese proverb. When you make a commitment with a guy, know that it may not happen, and you may need to find another one. It's like it doesn't roll off your tongue quite like may you live in interesting times, but still.
Yeah.
I would put my Luke Skywalker from The Mandalorian as one of my honorable mentions.
Yep.
That's if we'll see that this year.
Nice.
My Defender, if hope God willing it comes this year. I think it will.
So my honorable mention is I got to find an Obi-Wan for my Millennium Falcon, which is just an eBay purchase away.
He's a hard one. I mean, I feel bad because I'm sure you're getting decent deals, but even decent deals on those 4 figures you want, they're all very expensive now.
they're still double what they were.
You can get a Sideshow one for under $100 probably if you need a placeholder.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting a Sideshow one and getting one of those alternate head sculpts and just swapping the heads.
That's what I have the
think.
Sideshow. I never got the
They've
Obi-Wan.
got some good head sculpts.
Yeah,
you gotta
I may
switch the
do
head
that.
out.
But
He's in robes and stuff, and those robes and all are pretty good.
unfortunately, the Millennium Falcon 1/6 model kit from the front is the Millennium Falcon cockpit, but you can turn it around, and there's a whole nother set on the back where you can put Han and Leia from
Yep.
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, really?
Right,
That's
except
cool.
they haven't released.
Yes.
Well, they've released Leia in the Hoth outfit. They have not released an Empire Han Hot Toys.
Really?
That's
Nope.
interesting. I wonder why
They've
they
been
haven't.
teasing it for years. It has not come out.
Yeah, I was going to say I've seen that, and I think we actually saw I think we
saw a
one
prototype.
at one of the shows.
Well, listen, they showed us a Padme prototype 3 years ago, and they just put her up for pre-order like
This is
2
true.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no reason to rush into these things, people.
Yeah, why should you?
Yeah.
Okay. Who started this? Daryl did, I think. So
I
I'm
did.
next.
You're up next, Dave.
Excuse me. New or returning show? That's a tricky one. Because I've got a bunch of weird things listed here, but I got to go with Mando. It has not
Yep.
disappointed.
That's
Coming back in what, February?
Yep.
It's been great. So I'm looking forward to Mando. I mean, that's got to be the number one thing.
And the
But
trailer
there's-
looks awesome.
yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff here we'll talk about in a minute, but I got to go Mando. Brian?
I'm gonna go with Picard season 3.
It does look good. I got to say, that's
really
on my
The
does.
list, too.
trailers are so teasy. It's like,
I'm
oh,
hoping it's I hope it doesn't
it's going to be
disappoint.
100% fan service, and I don't care.
that's
That's
fine.
what I
They
want.
need to
That's
do
what I
that
want.
after the first 2 seasons.
That's
Fan
what I want.
service done right, I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
And I've got honorable mention. I'll let you guys go first. Go ahead.
Brian. I mean, what's your face? Barry.
Barry, what's his face? All right. Well, I would have said Mando. I'm gonna go Invincible season 2. They haven't even given us a date for it yet, but the first season of Invincible was so good.
awesome. So awesome. Yep.
Cool. Todd?
Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, I figured you'd say that, which is why.
Do we
I
know it's coming this year, though?
Yeah, it's this summer.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Daryl?
Oh, I'll go Mando. That's by far my number one. Number one.
I'm going to
thing
say as a known quantity of Ahsoka, I'm excited for Ahsoka.
Yeah,
what
that
they're
was
gonna
my
do
second
with
one.
that.
Ahsoka. Yeah.
That's on my
Um,
list. Secret Invasion is my other new show that I'm really hoping.
Yep.
is good.
There's some other interesting
This-
things. You know, there's a show called Masters of Air that is the same team that did Band of Brothers, but it talks
Oh,
about
yeah.
the Air Force
Yeah.
in World War II.
Oh wow.
The Army Air Corps, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Band of Brothers, I think, is one of the best things ever made for television, ever.
Yep.
I was disappointed with the Pacific. It'd be great if they could redeem themselves with something like this.
That would be
It's got
awesome.
airplanes in
Oh
it.
my
How can
God.
they go wrong?
Tom
Yeah.
Hanks is involved and all those
Okay,
guys.
that-
So, and I just read about that yesterday. So I'm a little. I'm
Is
excited
it
about
HBO
that.
again, or is it another production company?
No, it's Apple. Tom Hanks has a deal
Oh,
with
that's gonna
Apple
be
now.
great.
Okay.
There's gonna because they're now to the point where they can do CGI so well that they can do the planes that they can't do otherwise. And
Yeah, 1,000 plane missions. Yeah.
Yeah. there was a in the 80s there was a I think it was BBC or it was one of the British series, and it was on PBS series about British pilots called Piece of Cake. Okay, that was really, really good, but they were very limited because of the amount of airplane Spitfires they actually had access to, and so it was all of a sudden, boom, that's stock footage. That's clearly stock, and it was like, and I always thought that like the time would come when they could do this with CGI and they could make a really great, and because there's, again, this is, my uncle lived through this. He was a fighter pilot, but there's times when you'd have bombers in the air and 3 escorts on a bomber. And it was just, I mean, you can't do that with the aircraft that are left.
Wow, this
So-
is it. That's great. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where, Brian, did you go?
I did. Picard.
Oh, did everyone go? I don't remember where we are.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone went. Yep.
Okay. There's a couple other interesting shows. Anyone know what the deal with Last of Us is with Mando in it?
Based on a video game, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems interesting a little bit.
Is it a zombie thing?
I don't think it's a zombie thing. I think it's a pandemic really gone wrong thing, but I don't know. That comes out soon. But anyway, and Todd, you should like Treason.
Yeah.
MI6 thing with Charlie Cox.
Yep.
I don't know too much about that, but I just saw about that today.
That's a must-watch.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. I don't know who's going there. Brian, I think you go first. Movie.
Oh, good.
2023
I get
movie.
to go first because I get to say Indy 5.
Dial
You
M
don't want to
for
call it
Murder.
the Dial of
No.
Destiny?
Dial of Destiny.
Dial of Destiny. It
That
is
is a
so a time
horrible-
travel. It's a time travel movie. I love time travel movies. And
That is a
Indy,
horrible
time travel
title.
movie is going to be awesome.
Are your expectations high, Brian?
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah. Damn it. I
'Cause,
hope
we've had indie films all over the map.
I-
Great.
that's
Yeah.
got to
Terrible.
be. That's on my list too, but I'm trepidatious about it. But Barry, what do you got?
It's a tough one. There's a bunch of good movies coming out in this year. You know, I wasn't excited about this until I went to see Avatar and I saw this trailer in 3D. And I don't plan on seeing the movie in 3D, but the Ant-Man Quantumania trailer in 3D made me excited for that movie. I don't know, there was something about the way that trailer presented in 3 dimensions that was...
3 dimensions.
It's funny. They've been showing that trailer on the football games, like every third commercial is that trailer. I keep thinking it's a commercial for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, it does have that
It's
look to it.
So
They still
out there.
Do
Yeah.
not abide by Evangeline Lilly's haircut.
But it's
I
in
am
there. It's in
pretty
here.
excited
Okay,
for Ant-Man.
so Barry, do you object more to this haircut than the haircut in the first movie?
I
Strangely,
like the
yes.
haircut in the first one. It's a little cute.
It was
I remember
weird.
Barry hating the haircut in the first movie.
I did, but
but compared to this one,
comparatively, I'll take that one.
I gotta say, I am a little wary of this movie because the Marvel movies have not been since Endgame. I'm leaving off Spider-Man: No Way Home, which was excellent. That was most of our favorite movie last year, but they've not been great, and I'm a little wary of this movie.
I got a little bit more hopeful when the director was making those comments about how his other 2 movies were kind of filler movies, and this one actually has real stakes, and so that
I hope so. I'm just based on recent things, but well, Todd, you go, and then we'll.
I'm more
Yeah,
optimistic
I got a
for
lot
that
of-
film than
lot
I
of
have
others.
been, and my optimism is increasing on that, and I really hope that's going to be good. New rule: every other indie film is great. Think about it, right?
I hope so.
There's
like
a
the
lot of people
Raiders.
would disagree with you, but
Yeah.
I'm on that train.
The
Raiders,
odd-numbered
so-so.
indie films are great.
Yeah,
Three
yeah.
was
Just like
great.
Star Trek.
3 was great.
No, the opposite of Star Trek.
Yeah, it's the opposite of Star Trek. So I think we're due for I think we're due for them to hit it out of the ballpark.
I
hope
think
you're right.
2022 was a redemption year for Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I gotta say, I have a new respect for it.
I've always had a soft spot for it.
I didn't
It's-
freeze
yeah.
right there. I was just being kind. But go
And
on.
I know.
And remind me, Spielberg's not involved in Indy 5.
He's
is that right?
involved. He's producing, but he's not directing.
He's not directing.
He probably had very little involvement. Is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm hoping so because I think we need a change.
He probably
Definitely.
approved the story, but that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that
I
you?
have a lot of confidence in the director, and I think I'm feeling really good about this. So
I like the things I've heard him saying in interviews too. So
Daryl, is that you, or was that you got something else?
Is that mine? Indy 5? No.
Yeah.
The Indy. No, I'm scared of Indy 5.
Okay,
Because-
fair enough.
I'm scared because I love this franchise above all. Even well, my number one movie of all time is Raiders, even ahead of Star Wars. So I love it. I don't want to set my expectations high. I don't want it to be bad. So I'm very confused on Indy 5.
okay,
Yeah.
Daryl, if it was on par with Last Crusade, would you be happy, or does it
I'd be
have
very
to be,
happy.
or does it have to be as good as Raiders?
It doesn't have
I'd
to be.
I'd be
as good.
very happy if it's on par with Last Crusade. Even
That's
if it
what
was
I'm
a-
hoping for.
even
I'm
if it was
hoping for Last Crusade level, where
Yeah.
it's got a few flaws, but
Yeah.
it's a yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so-
I'm with you. It's scary. Who knows? This is definitely the last time. This is the last chance we got.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There's no question that this is. So if you're going to let's put a number on this. I am in the 85% range right now. That's going to be good.
Oof, that's a big range.
I think you're the highest one in the group.
Okay.
I would
I'm
have pegged you
hopeful.
for higher, Brian. But
And I'm hopeful on a level like that, but I'm not. I refuse to get my hopes up that it's that good. I want to be
All right,
pleasantly surprised.
I'm going to
Not
go.
disappointed.
I think these are movies we're all sort of looking forward to. But Indy, the Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
yes, that's my
Yeah.
number one.
I
Yep.
won't even John Wick, but let's put that aside for now.
Mission
Impossible
Impossible.
7
Yep.
and the Marvels. Let's just leave it at that.
Yep.
I have a few
I-
others too.
Go ahead, throw them out.
Oppenheimer. Have you seen the trailer for
Okay,
Oppenheimer?
for right now that doesn't count
Okay.
because I'm just saying of trepidation and or
Okay. Well, then
expectation.
Dune Part 2 is the other one that I would
Yes.
throw on the list.
Oh,
Again,
yes. Thank
who
you,
cares?
Barry.
No, I'm kidding. I like Dune 1. But
wasn't
of them,
tracking that, but
I
yes.
feel of Indy, let's even say of them, Indy, Guardians, the Quantumania, and the Marvels, I feel like Guardians is going to do the right thing. James Gunn is not going to screw it up. The other ones, Quantumania, I'm very scared of. Indy, I'm probably slightly less scared of. And the Marvels, I have no freaking idea. Because Captain Marvel is great and it grows better every time you see it.
I have
I don't
tremendous
know.
faith in all directors named James at this point.
I also really ended up enjoying the Ms. Marvel TV show. So
I did too.
That plays into me being excited about the Marvels, but
Yep.
I'm worried. Marvel's just, I mean, I get it. There's not going to be another Endgame. You kind of, but I don't know. So, but Guardians, I feel like is going to be the.
I think they're going to send them off right. That's my expectation for Guardians, that'll have all that same amount of fun that we've come to love for.
I have a lot more confidence that Guardians will send them off in a more satisfactory way than Indy will.
I feel that way. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, me too.
you know what? In the short term, the movie I'm most excited about, and I'm not even joking, is Cocaine Bear. Have you seen the
Oh
trailer
my
for Cocaine Bear?
I've seen it.
It's
That's a
about-
true story, by
It's
the way.
based on a true story, but it takes it to an extreme. A drug smuggling plane loses its cargo of cocaine, and a bear eats a giant bag of cocaine and goes crazy and chases people.
As bears do.
It just looks hilarious.
But didn't Elizabeth Banks direct that, which is awesome because she's crazy.
Well, and it's got like real actors in it. It's not like a total indie crap. Like the woman, what's her name from The Americans, is in it.
Yeah.
Terry Russell.
Barry Russell.
Harry Russell. If you haven't watched the trailer, I'm telling you, go watch the Cocaine Bear trailer. February 24th.
On speaking of trailers, have you seen the Barbie trailer?
Yes.
I have. I think that's cute.
Yeah, don't bother seeing the movie, but the trailer is awesome.
I
Oh,
think
you
it's
know
gonna
what
be
trailer
funny.
looks great is the Super Mario trailer.
Yeah, that's on my
doesn't it?
list too.
My kids are just off the charts for
Mine
for
too,
seeing
and
this.
it really looks like they squeezed every little reference to everything that ever been done in a Mario game. into that.
everything,
Yeah.
everything. It looks really good.
The way the way they've weaved the music in from the games looks great.
I can't wait to see it.
Okay, is everyone gone on that?
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
good. I'm
remember.
good. Yep.
Everyone's gone on that. Okay, I'm going to throw this out as just a list. Any other things you're looking forward to in 2023 that's not on these lists?
Rhode Island Comic Con.
I'm gonna have to make the trip up.
Yeah.
You gotta make
honestly,
it,
for
Daryl.
me-
You gotta.
I would love to see.
Go ahead, Todd.
I would love to see Marvel do a couple more specials. I really.
Yes.
I bet they
love-
will.
I love both those specials this year, and they both crept up. We kind of knew about the Guardians one, but we had no idea what it was. The Werewolf by Night one just fell out of the sky, and I would love to see them. I can't wait to see what they do for Easter. No, I'm just saying. But yeah, I would love to see a couple more of those.
Yeah.
It has been a
with
major disappointment for me that I have yet to experience Rise of the Resistance, and
Oh man.
I am
yes.
experiencing it in a matter
Soon.
of days.
You never
Barry
have.
was saying the other
wow.
day that there's just a gnawing inside him that I have been on that ride and he is not.
No,
The only
my
thing
exact
I look-
words were that it causes me great pain that you have been on it and I haven't.
The only thing that really upsets me about that is you've watched the walkthroughs, because there is nothing like experience that not knowing what's coming.
I know, but you know,
When I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I had no idea what was
Well,
coming.
the beautiful thing is there's multiple versions, so you see
Yeah,
things
but
from
that big
angles you haven't
reveal-
seen before, and
But
The big reveal is just like, holy shit, that's
It-
I've
amazing.
only
it
been
won't matter.
to
I-
Galaxy's Edge in California before the pandemic, and that wasn't open yet. And we were supposed to go last year, and we had to cancel the trip. So
That's
yeah,
right.
Rise of the Resistance.
I've been multiple times in both parks, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how many times you've been on it. It's fantastic every
Yeah.
time.
It's
It is
so
awesome.
great.
I'm
It's
hoping
so
to
great.
ride it twice at least. So we'll see.
At least. Okay, there is, not that this is a major thing, but there is a making of the Wrath of Khan coming out, and it's not till September. But I just read about that. I guess after the motion picture one came
Well,
out.
hey, so Barry, you're doing Genie Plus when you go to the parks.
I don't know. Well,
He doesn't need it.
You're
Let's
not
just put
the-
it that way.
let's put it this way: I don't need it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We'll talk about that
Excellent.
after the show.
Yeah, more later. Okay.
Okay, moving along. So 2023 resolutions, goals. Let's recap where we are
gosh.
with our Barry. Do you have this?
I have it. Yeah, I wrote it down.
Barry
so who,
will take
who do
us
you want
through
me to start
last
with?
year's goals.
Who do you want me to start with?
Whoever.
Do it in order that they're here.
I'll
And
go in the
just-
order that I wrote them down. So
and
Dave.
say, read what their goal is. Have them say whether they met the goal and what their goal is for this year.
Okay. So Dave's goal was to deal with his attic, to get rid of things that he doesn't care about.
My attic is completely empty. No, I didn't.
No.
I
not
have
true.
not done anything with that attic, because wait, that wasn't this year, was it? When I sold all that stuff, wasn't that last year?
That was last year.
I think that was the last year that you
So
sold
I
stuff.
did about 40% of it. I got rid of a ton of stuff. I haven't done a single thing
Well,
since.
and that was, I think, what inspired you for your resolution. You're like, I did some
Yeah.
of it. I want to do more of it.
I have not done that.
Okay.
I did just today rearrange a lot of stuff in the kitchen with Pam. I can't believe that we've had over 20 different tablecloths and we don't use any. So we just got rid of a bunch. So I'm on my way. But I did not accomplish anything with that goal.
Okay. All right. Well, Dave. So that was Dave. Todd, your resolution was to sell a lot of shit to pay for other things.
I did, in fact, sell a lot of shit to pay for other things. I liquidated 95% of my comic book collection this year.
Yeah, good
Wow.
for you, buddy.
Wow.
And I will say I am poised to continue with this because when I visited Daryl, I saw the coolest thing, which never occurred to me before. And the way Daryl stages for auctions is he takes the item out, he takes his pictures, he gets it prepped, he puts it in a box, gets it all wrapped and ready to go. And then when he lists it, it's there. And so one of the things that always keeps me from like following through and selling these things is you got to figure out how much it's going to be to ship it and all this kind of stuff like this. So I now have, I think, 21 or 23 objects in the other room that I'm waiting for post-Christmas to list, okay, that are already boxed up, weighed, and I have all the specs written out so that I can just do an assembly line like Daryl does.
Yeah.
And it's really just list it and ship it as opposed to list it and scramble around trying to get it packed. So
That's a good idea.
yeah, I'm telling you, I was super impressed when I saw this, and I have everything like sealed with like one little piece of tape. So if I have to open it and add another object, I can do that. But everything's marked with a Post-it note on it, what it is, what its weight is, and it's all good to go. So
That's one of the good things about eBay is now they force you to list the packaging dimensions when you list the items.
and I have them all written down for each one with each thing as I wrote the listings out. And so my for this year is sell more shit. The paper
sell more shit. That's great.
Okay.
Well, you inspired me for sure. I took more boxes of comics down and got rid of those. Just took them like, whatever you give me,
Yep.
three for $1 or whatever it is. So thank you for getting that ball started.
All right. So I was next, but since I'm the one reading it off, why don't I'll go last. So Brian is next. And Brian said he would like to not buy more action figures, but he wants Todd's Hot Toys Iron Man Mark I when the new one comes out. And then the other thing he said was he wants to finish projects in his shop and only work on one project at a time. Now you moved, so that probably impacted that quite a bit.
Yeah, I didn't finish any of those projects. They're in boxes now in storage. But yeah, it's amazing how much moving will put a complete damper on anything else you're doing.
Yeah.
So no, I did a really bad job on that.
And
So,
not buying more action figures, you kind of failed there too, I guess.
So badly
Failed. But that's excusable. Brian, at the beginning of last year, did you guys even have in mind that you were going to move this year? Was that
Yes.
on the,
Yeah,
on
we
the
did.
radar? Okay.
Yeah, we knew.
All right.
Do you,
Um,
where are you putting your workshop?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to have 3 workshops.
Yeah, why not?
I'm building a garage. So the garage that's going to have the hobby cars in it's going to be my machine shop. That's where the lathe is going to go in the machine shop.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've got the current garage attached to the house, which has got a nice work area. This heated garage. That's going to be my messy area. That's where the modeling will happen, the sanding and all that kind of stuff. And then I've downstairs in the basement, I'm going to build an electronics workshop.
Nice.
3 workshops.
Awesome.
So that's my resolution for this year is to finish the basement, which is I think I can get done this year. I'm trying to get everything moved in by the 1-year anniversary of when we moved here, which is the July 4th weekend. So yeah.
Wow,
I was putting robots together in the basement today, so it's moving along.
You've been there 6 months already. That went. I mean, for me, it went fast. I don't know how it feels.
No, it went fast. And the basement flood did set us back a ways, and then COVID sent us back a ways, but we're making progress now.
Okay, so Daryl, you're up next, and your resolutions were to go from 3 offsite storage facilities to 2, to work on custom Lego builds, and to start writing your next book, which you said might be G.I. Joe Adventure Team or Disney related.
Yep. So the first 2, so all of these are partial, and the problem with goals, I usually make SMART goals, specific, measurable, actionable, result oriented, time based. But the first 2 are related, unfortunately, to go from three storage units. So I've been hauling stuff out of my storage units to sell. The problem is the boxes are super dense. The boxes could contain 50 to 100 items in them, and it takes it takes a long time to go through these. So it never goes as fast as I want. Todd has seen the carnage. Maybe you saw it to a certain extent, Brian, but I can't work on Lego builds. One, because I really don't have the time. I prioritize like getting other stuff like eBay done. But also my display room where the Lego builds would have gone has been completely overtaken by eBay stuff, all the boxes that are in that room. So I just don't have the space. So I'm going to have to take the Lego builds off the table. But that Lego Pick-a-Brick has enabled me to stay on top of what I need for the future builds.
If you think I have a lot of workshops, you should see Daryl's house. There's like 15 secret rooms, and everyone's got a specific job.
It is like walking around the TARDIS. I went outside like 4 times and were like, how does he get this many rooms at his house? And then I would go back inside and I'd find another freaking room. And it was like,
This is the display room. This is the poster room. This is the Lego room. This is the theater.
And now we're in the theater room. And it's like, oh, what's this shit? That door didn't go there before.
That's right.
You opened that door before. It went somewhere else entirely.
Figured out how to bend space around. And then, but I will say, start working on the next book. So I was inspired actually after our show, and especially a shout out to some of you guys know Greg Attori, a guy.
Oh yeah.
Former G.I. Joe designer. He's a toy designer in the Joe world. He helped me out with some of his files from his time at Hasbro. Ooh. And so I've been putting together, going through like real microscopically, building a database of stuff I need for the next book. And Greg's help was absolutely instrumental for that. And I recently, in going through my stuff the other day, looking for an old hard drive or an old external drive, I found some other files that are going to be helpful for that too, which was a bonus because I thought I was done. So I'm going to continue going through what I usually do when I write a book, which is go through and build a database and make sure has good integrity and check it, and then that's the basis to go off on stuff. So I'm still poking at it.
Cool.
So that'll be a fun thing, and that'll be probably a G.I. Joe. Yeah, that will be a G.I. Joe related book. So I'm hoping to keep progressing on that.
Cool. Looking forward to that. All right, so mine were buy a vintage vinyl cave Jawa, fill in missing Star Wars play sets and vehicles.
Very specific.
Very specific. I did buy a Dagobah playset and a Star Destroyer playset, so I hit the mark on the vehicles. This damn Vinyl Cape Jawa prices keep going up and up and up. But I'm happy to say, and you guys don't know about this,
Oh,
I did manage to get one in December.
No
Really?
way, dude! Congrats.
And I got to thank our friend of the show, Tom Spina, because he knew I wanted one, and he kept sending me links to things, and like, here's another one, and here's another one, and the prices were just so crazy. Late November, he sent me to a guy in France that he's friends with, and that Gus Lopez is friends with. So I felt like, all right, if those two guys are friends with this guy, I can trust him. And I ended up buying it from a seller in France.
wow.
Even while I was on vacation, but thankfully my kids were home and they were able to receive the package. So yeah, it's not a packaged one, and it's not graded, but it is real deal, and it's in great condition. So
Congrats!
I can
man.
check this
Hey.
off my list.
All right.
You should have
Way to
gone
go.
last. That is
So
amazing.
and
Yeah.
honestly, I have to. This is really my favorite collectible of the year. So I didn't want to mention it earlier when we were talking about action figures and collectibles. This trumps all.
Holy
Definitely
cow.
the most expensive collectible I bought this year, but my favorite. So
Nice.
Barry,
Good
that
for
reminds
you.
me. You were mentioning an auction. A guy found like a ton of
oh,
carded
there's
stuff.
like 450 carded Star Wars figures that are
When does
going
that
up for
auction
auction in
start?
February.
February. Okay.
Yeah. They have, I've been following it. They've since taken all the cards and they put them in
Yeah.
acrylic cases, and it's going to be pretty wild to watch. What
Keep us up to
goes.
date on that because I'm not
It's-
following that, but I'd be
Yeah,
curious.
it's gonna go crazy.
It's on the East Coast. I think it's in Pennsylvania, the auction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Let me see. I think
It's going to be really interesting to see what that does to values. Will they go skyrocket or will
I
it
think-
destroy the market?
And this guy, I mean, who knows where it all came from and what the real stories are, because the guy that owned it isn't the one selling it. He's given it to an auction house, and it doesn't sound like he's telling his story, but there's like 6 Luke Skywalkers with the telescoping lightsaber on card and some really rare stuff. So 6 Boba Fett's on Star Wars cards, like crazy stuff.
So I think Brian, Star Wars, like, to Barry's earlier point, Star Wars compared to every other thing has just kept exploding, and the growth has been unchecked. It's been unreal. I think if 6 Boba Fett's come into the market, it's not going to impact the total demand for these things, but we're gonna get like prop store auction prices, I think,
Mhm.
because the attention this auction is getting. A lot of other people are probably going to swoop in who may not have been as active and just want to either get a piece of it, or this thing has
Investors and all.
Oh, and
that
it's
crap.
just good that-
it's got cool
Yeah.
provenance, for all
Yeah.
these. All
And
these,
it's good that they
cars.
changed their approach, because the initial approach was going to be sell all the Boba Fett's together, sell all the Yodas together.
That
sell
makes
all the Luke's
no
together,
sense.
which really made no sense. And they've since changed that, and they're going to sell them individually. But
If
yeah,
you,
it's pretty wild.
I thought I had bookmarked this, Barry. I'm sure we can find it easily enough by searching, but
Yeah,
if you have a
I'm
link-
not a player on any of it, but I would just I'm curious as hell to see what it all goes for.
yeah, I just want to watch it. It's really cool.
There's also talk of the Greg Jean auction that's going to supposedly happen
I can't wait to see that. That's going to be amazing.
because they talked about it on the Things Dreams Are Made Of podcast. And he was a comic art collector, and they think there was sort of unnamed auction of his stuff.
Yeah, it was
that
interesting that they
happened.
didn't call it by his name. Like they could potentially have said, "Oh, it's his collection," but they didn't do that.
It's interesting because he's not known for that, but that will be interesting too. Okay, we got to moving along. We just
We're down at the
recapped
end, right?
everyone's resolutions,
Yep.
and now let's go through.
Oh wait, so the only thing I didn't say what my resolutions for 2023.
we didn't do that yet. We're doing that going
I thought
around.
We kind of did.
Good.
as
That
we were
kind of did,
going.
but go ahead. Go ahead.
Sort of. I
No.
covered mine.
I covered
Go ahead.
Okay. Dave? So I'll do mine and then you do yours because everybody else did it already. I want to continue to reduce the size of what I have and really focus more on quality over quality. And I think I'm finally at a point where I'm ready to let some of my vintage G.I. Joe stuff go. I think I'm not getting rid of all of it, and I'm but I think what I enjoy most about it is knowing I have one of everything. So I've been so hesitant to let a single thing go because then I don't have one of everything. But I think I'm okay with not having one of everything at this point because so much of it's just in storage and I'm not enjoying it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I collect the Aurora box art for the monsters, but some of the G.I. Joe box art I'm looking at now is like that pretty cool. The astronaut and the Air Force box art are fantastic.
Good luck on that. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Well, you better be better off buying the boxes for the art than the actual art.
The actual art itself.
Oh no, I'm talking about the boxes. I'm not buying.
I'm not following that stuff at all. But does any of that stuff even come up at all? Has anyone seen new? Yeah, you probably be more in tune with that stuff.
New Joe art.
Art.
Vintage art?
I Adventure Team or
I know one package painting came onto market last year and traded hands and went to a very.
I think I know the exact one you're speaking of.
It went to a very worthwhile collector. I won't go into names or what it was.
So it went to you?
He's a friend of all of us.
No, it was not me. I didn't even have a chance to bid on it.
I didn't know it was available until I found out it was in that person's hands. So
yeah.
Wait. What was it? I don't care the who and how much was it?
I don't know what it sold for. I never asked.
It was the Search for the Stolen Idol.
Oh gosh.
And it went for a lot.
Yeah.
It went for, I would say, twice the previous high water mark of any Adventure Team painting, so very high.
I have a vested interest in that, so I'm curious.
But it went to a very worthwhile home. I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, you'll tell me after the show.
I have a picture of it I can send you, but I will send it to you privately.
Okay. All right, so resolutions, I didn't get into mine, but I do want to continue organizing, get rid of the stuff that I don't want anything that I'm not going to display. Not easy because I am running out of display space, but I'm not buying stuff to put in a box. And I do want to, and these are long-term goals. I do, the original prop things I'd still want to continue the original props pursuit, at least of something from my favorite franchises. So I was happy enough to get the original series triple, which sort of satisfies Star Trek, but Star Wars, Aliens, maybe a couple others. Just even doesn't have to be the biggest piece in the world, but this is a bad time to be wanting to do this, but it is what it is.
And then Daryl, I've got yours right here.
Oh yeah, that's
a tall one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is
thank
the
you.
feature step from Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Right.
Yeah.
We had the three of ours together 2 days ago, and we realized how they are all different sizes.
They're all different. Yeah, they're all
That's
different
so
sizes.
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I do have one for you, Daryl. We'll have to get it to you. And Dave makes a really
Thank
nice
you.
display.
I'll drive up
I
to Rhode
finished
Island
Todd
for
and
it.
Barry's displays because I kind of needed to know the actual dimensions.
That's awesome.
And there it is.
Thank you.
Oh, and there it is.
Yep, mine's in the other room.
More
Wow,
this way.
that's beautiful.
Really nice. Yeah, it's really nice, Dave.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Cool. So yeah, more original props, which is just the worst possible time to be doing that, but that's fine. But I did get a good deal on the to Tribble. So.
I keep wondering if the bubble's going to burst, and it doesn't. It just keeps going and going and going.
It's a better time to do it now than it is to do it 3 years from now. So you might as well do it now.
I don't know. I have a feeling the Greg Jean auction is going to be the peak forever because his Star Trek collection is unparalleled.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I've
Yes,
got
but
Indie.
the interest isn't.
I've got Star Trek.
It's the interest as high as it was though 10 years ago.
I've seen some Star Trek costumes trade for what I thought was really reasonable prices. So maybe you might be right. Maybe it's coming down, but.
When the props podcast guys talk, they always seem to think Star Trek is not at that level that the Aliens and the Indie and the Star Wars is, and that's fine. There
was a lot more of it though, because it was 3 years of shows versus
Yeah, but when it's the phaser that was in the picture in the making of Star Trek. But that is a
Those are
$1 million
different
problem.
things. I think they sort of
Well, I think
those are
the-
special.
The cream
Yeah.
is super polarized on Star Trek,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of TV stuff available. Right?
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, I still don't even know what the Star Wars thing is, but it's not going to be a helmet. It's going to be something small, but I don't know what it is. But I'll know it when I see it.
I mean, I did some rearranging, and I've got my Star Trek costume on a mannequin right here. You can't see it, but so I can actually look at it all the time now. And like, just to think that what we paid for those uniforms,
Oh, those are cheap.
and I realize they're not main crew, and they're not from, but they're complete uniforms, and we paid like $400 for them.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You have Simon Pegg's pants, you know?
And I have Simon Pegg's pants.
So
Anyway, do we? Okay, we're almost done. Do any airing of grievances?
I think I got mine out.
We don't have to. We could keep it positive.
Daryl went off on the O-rings. I think that covers us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we
Okie
want to
dokies.
mention any honorable mention of people who we lost in 2020?
I do want to talk about Greg Jean a little bit, because I did know Greg a little bit. And he was one of those people in movies you hear about who's willing to help anyone get into movies, who really wants to get into movies. I visited his Glencoe location many times, and he was always very welcoming, and would actually, he knew I was into World War II reenactment, and would actually ask me questions about how to build guns and that kind of stuff, which I thought was very flattering. And just the nicest guy you'd ever meet, who always remembered your name and remembered what you were interested in, even though you met him. I maybe met Greg 12 times in my life, and he must have met hundreds of people those same 12 times. And just a great guy, and got everyone I know who's in the business into the business. And great guy, and really sad that he's passed. The fan's fan. I mean, he was a fan who made it big and then brought other fans into the industry. So
Did you
rest in peace,
get a
Greg.
sense of the types of things that he had in his collection, or was he private about that?
Oh no, he wasn't private about it at all.
Because he's when you listen to the Dreams Are Made Of podcast, they keep saying like no one really knows what he had and like what could possibly be lurking in that collection. So I got the feeling like maybe he was pretty private about it.
I've seen the stuff he's put on display, and it's every prop you ever saw in Star Trek, the original series, every costume you ever saw in Star Trek. Some of his stuff has already been up for sale. I've seen it go by. But he has the Dark Star, the ship, the Dark Star from Dark Star, which he built.
Very cool.
He built the Dark Star, and he worked on Blade Runner and Close Encounters and 1941 and Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and you can imagine the stuff that he just collected from that, because he just took it out, took it home from work.
Right.
He had a big Lost in Space collection. Some of it is sold off now, but all the original lasers from Lost in Space he had. He told me a story about on the 20th Century Fox slot when they had their big sale, and he bought the Lost in Space robot and the lasers and the costumes, that he could have gotten the astrogator from the Jupiter 2 and the elevator from the Jupiter 2. So they're sitting on the lot, but he couldn't figure out a way to buy them and get them home. So they bulldozed them into the landfill. He was at that famous MGM auction. He was at the 20th Century Fox auction, and he comes from a very wealthy family. So there's probably a lot of stuff from way back in his collection, from those Forbidden Planet and those kind of things.
Wow.
That's too bad. It's sad that he's gone.
Yeah. He would go to Comic-Con every year. I'd run into him there. He's a big Comic-Con fan. I did not know about his comic book art collection. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they were speculating, but yeah, supposedly.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason that they said they knew about it was that I guess one of those guys had worked on the Rocketeer book where they went back and they found all the original artwork, and they couldn't. There was 2 pages they couldn't find, and one of them, it turned out, was in his collection.
Yeah.
They ultimately tracked it down to him. Well, I don't know how we follow that up.
I
Sorry.
don't know how we followed it. I miss Olivia Newton-John. That's how I followed
Yeah,
that.
that I had pegged that for your tribute.
Yeah, I
exactly.
miss Taylor Hawkins.
I'll say
Michelle Nichols.
Michelle
Jimmy-
Nichols for sure.
Jimmy Kahn.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to get his autograph like a couple months before he passed away. That was sad.
We didn't get a chance to mention it because it sort of happened right after we recorded, but Kirstie Alley we never got to mention.
Oh, yeah.
The week that she had passed away, which, I mean, I was always a Cheers fan, but I'll always remember her as Savick.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Another actor that we never mentioned that passed away this year that I just saw on a list the other day was David Warner, who
Oh, yeah. I remember
Right.
him when he
Yeah.
passed. Yeah.
totally missed that, and was in Trek and was in everything, and
Yeah.
it was just a classic.
Yeah, he
bad
was
guy.
the Michael Caine of science fiction
He
genre.
was. That is exactly the way to put it. Because
Yeah.
yes, he was. He was in everything, and I always think of Time After Time.
Time after time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know
Cool.
we covered it already, but our buddy Jason David Frank,
Yep.
Green Power Ranger.
Yeah. That was sad.
He
Very
was
sad.
a really good guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's right.
That
You
was
were,
a-
you
that
were
was
there
a-
with us.
Yeah.
That was a great interview. I'm glad you guys replayed that. I had
Yeah.
that interview. That was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
He was fantastic.
It was great. Okay, well, 2022 behind us. I know a lot of people were happy to get out of that year. I mean, I've had worse years, so it wasn't so bad. Looking forward to a good 2023. Hopefully the world continues to get back to normal. Let's stop these freaking wars and these stupid Republicans and all that stuff. But happy to move forward with everything.
Here.
And we've got at least 45 plus shows to do. We have no clue what they're going to be about, but we'll get
No.
there.
But
And we thank
it's
all you
been-
guys for listening.
Yeah, I was just
Sure.
going to say, I mean, I know we said it last show, but now that we've got Brian and Daryl here with us too, just one of the things that gets us through week after week after week is hanging with you guys and doing the show and just, texting constantly with you guys. And it's a big part of what helps keep me sane. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank
sure.
you.
And thank you guys for the shows because I look forward to them every week. Even when
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
on.
it's just good to talk to people
Yeah.
in a semi-organized fashion because
And you warn me off of really bad movies I don't have to go see.
yeah.
We try.
A public service we offer.
Yeah. So we help you spend your money and we
Yeah,
help you
that's
hopefully
true.
avoid crappy stuff.
Yeah.
So here's to spending tons more money in 2023, buying some good stuff, seeing some good shows and some good movies, and just having some fun. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.